and welcome to 4020 Live. The boys are back together with our new office uniform, which we're very grateful for. We'll get more about that in a while, but what a busy weekend of rugby league we have got to look back on. Hull's woes continue. Leeds squeak past Widnes. How lucky are Leeds? Oh, really? Widnes doomed, but what about the rest of the qualifiers? London beating Toulouse, that race is now wide open. Injuries at Hull KR. Adam Quinlan could be gone for the season with an ACL injury. Is that going to be the defining moment of Rovers' season? Saints have got to wait a week longer to get their hands on the League Leaders Shield, but never worry, they play Hull next week, so they'll get it then for definite. That and more here with the boys. You can get in touch on Twitter at 4020 Live, and you can get in touch as well via the 4020 Live Facebook page. Boys, are we well? Legend, are you well?
Yeah, very well. I'll tell you what, look smart, fellas, don't you? Hey?
We don't look too bad.
I think we all look younger, don't we?
I won't go that far.
No,
where have we got these from? They were delivered. We're quite pleased. They got delivered for us. Where have they come from?
Yes, we were contacted after the show last week by a gentleman who was very complimentary. I genuinely don't know why. Seems to like us. It's from Salford. Does retro kit. He said, "Can I deliver you some T-shirts?" And we said, "If you really feel you must, we won't turn you away." And he hand delivered them. He's a lovely man. I don't want to embarrass him by telling his name because he's got a Twitter handle. And we're very grateful. I think we look quite smart.
Very good indeed.
Got a school uniform for back
We have
to
got
school.
School uniform, also wearing his uniform,
Yes.
looking very dapper, the RSW.
Black is very slimming.
Goes with greyhound.
I watched Loose Women and stuff, and that's what they say. So thanks for making them in black. It looks great. And any free stuff, send it our way. It's what we like. I mean, money more than anything, but free stuff.
Very good. We've been asked, have we not got the mics? The mics that weren't in last week. We are a new organisation. We're finding his way. We've put an order in at Belle Isle. The stuff should be with us very shortly indeed. Right, let's talk about what's happened.
We've got a live game on, though.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a live game on. Yeah, we're going to live stream the game.
Because we're not just.
I thought it were Leeds, but then I realised they were all on side, so it couldn't have been Leeds.
And stood up. No bandages. It's actually Huddersfield against Whitehaven.
All right, okay. Huddersfield here then with the old claret and gold.
Yep.
Very good. Where's Schoey? Is he on the sideline shouting at him, telling him how rubbish
Well, he's
they
the
are?
Huddersfield coach. He's just marching off in the other direction.
And we must as well give a warm welcome to our guest tonight, the one and only, the legend that is Eddie Rombo is with us tonight.
Yeah, listen, I thought we were a respectful rugby league show. And I mentioned that word, and I'll say that word, rugby league, because he was opposite rugby league. So what's he doing on the table? What's he doing on the table? Eddie Rombo. He was useless.
Dewsbury legend.
Eh?
Dewsbury legend.
Do me a favour, will you? Eh? Absolute rubbish he was. Mark, first of all, fellas, I just want to just make a congratulations as well, to be honest with you, because I thought it was a great effort at the weekend from the boys at Unsick Parkside. They went 22 unbeaten. It's a record. I'm led to believe in the amateur game for that level. So great congratulations. Paul McShane, the hooker, Unsick Parkside lad. He's the main coach with Martin Rouse, Sam Ford, Jamie Fielding, the captain, Jamie Bradley as well. They've been picked for the Bala Tour to go to Fiji. So now they've got the playoffs. So they're lucky to carry on to win that trophy as well from there. So well done to the lads at Unsick Parkside. And they're just on a sad note as well, which I felt very sad today when I found out my good friend, and also was a great friend of my father. They went to the same school. Kenny Eyre, the great Unsick player, the great Leeds player who passed away on Friday, and brilliant ball handling, speedster, great footwork for a big man, Kenny Eyre. Sadly lost Kenny on Friday, and that's very, very, very sad from there because he was a great man.
Okay, fair enough. Right, where do we want to start? Let's start then. I think we've got to go qualifiers this week because...
Well, we know the top four.
It's wide open. Well, we know who's in the top four, but it's wide open in the qualifiers. Controversial game in some ways, Salford. Comfortable winners, but the controversy comes after the game on social media. Has Marwan Kukash got to be told? Has he got to be censored by the RFL? Or has he got to be banned from the game, Phil? Serious question now.
Firstly, I'd rather not talk about him because it's the oxygen of publicity that he craves. Is he actually involved with Salford?
Well, if he is, then he's got to be banned, hasn't he?
Well, I think if we're going to talk social media, let's talk clubs that post things about referees. That's something that I think we really have gone way beyond what is acceptable, and certainly the RFL should be looking at one club in the Championship this week that I don't know how you can sanction public criticism of a match official through an official Twitter feed of a club. And for me, I think that's the issue, and not somebody who is just desperate to be, in the public eye.
What's he said on social media?
Well, it was just very derogatory about Toronto Wolfpack, and
but does he mean it? Does he genuinely mean it?
Well,
or
what was
is
he saying
it just
about
to
Toronto?
seek attention?
What was he saying?
Well, we can't say it because
All
it's
right.
not nice enough to talk about.
Right, okay. Right.
The same as what he said about Catalan Dragons, and if they won the Challenge Cup. But I just think if you give him the platform, that's exactly what he wants.
Fair dues indeed. Well, all right then. What about on the field then? 2 sendings off. Can be no complaints. Burgess and
Jackson Hastings.
Both out.
Again, I think you need to be at the game to really get a feel for the incident. I've managed to see both of them on television replays. I think both are quite lucky with what they've been charged with, if I'm being honest. I honestly thought Luke Burgess would probably be gone for 3 or 4 weeks, possibly. That would have meant his season done. He's got a week for, I think, what was described as a coat hanger on social media by most people.
He didn't miss, did he, to be fair? He didn't miss.
So I think one match for that again.
Or...
We keep talking about, what message does it send out if it's a lenient grading. I think that probably is. The Hastings one again, 2 to 3, probably about right. But why do something 13 seconds from the end of the game?
Well, I mean, does that not? I mean, that says to me, it wasn't intentional. But it doesn't matter whether it's intentional or not, Gary. You go around smacking people in the head and get done.
Hey, mate, I'm not so sure about that because he didn't miss, and he knew exactly where he was hitting. He wasn't looking, to him around the rib area or around the shoulder area. It was straight around the chops. And so for mine, I saw both incidents, and if we want to cut this out of the game, prevention is the cure, as we keep saying about, as we know with the grapple tackle and all this sort of thing, the cannonball, we're going in the crusher tackle, we want this coming out of our game, we need to be giving sentences, and for me, them 2 sentences surely deserve 4-week bans. Simple as that.
What's the grading then? What's happened with those 2 then?
Jackson Hastings 2 games, Luke Burgess 1 game.
So both missing out this week. This week they both miss out then, which is rather fortuitous, shall we say, for Leeds.
Do you think Salford are safe already?
Delighted that they're being missing because they're coming to the beloved Headley on Friday night.
The cup final for Leeds was yesterday. They had to win that game by hook or crook. When you look at the fixtures that they've got left now, they're not safe yet. They wouldn't take a trip to Halifax or having Toronto at home for granted, but I think that result was everything yesterday. It was a horrible game. It was like, I don't know how to even describe it. Rugby league rubbernecking, I think I called it. But they did the job.
Well, let's go back. Let's go to Leeds in a minute. Let's talk about this Salford game. I didn't see the first bit. I see it the 20-0 up, and then all of a sudden it's 2016, and the Wolfpack are on the charge. Is it a game they should have won at the end or not?
Oh no. Salford again. When you see Salford and Watson likes the game to be played in the right way, doesn't he? And they were very, very good for the first 40 minutes. And Toronto again at times a little bit niggly, giving silly penalties away. But fair play to Salford. They took the opportunities well and they played attractive rugby league. They let the ball do the work and fully deserved the 20-0 victory. And then I would imagine, in the second half, Rowley gave them a bit of roasting. And then what they decided to do was themselves to play rugby league rather than being a little bit naughty and a little bit niggly and this sort of thing, because they have got some decent players. But to be honest with you as well, I think because of the championship level what they're playing at, they don't play at the intense level week in and week out, so they get found out. And as I've said in my column today, and Paul Rowley and Brian Noble, they're not two stupid guys. They know themselves. If they go to Super League, because they've got too many journeymen in that Toronto side, mark my words, there's too many journeymen. They're not going to be able to play Super League if they qualify week in and week out from there. They got themselves back into the game. Salford, we put the cue on the rack a little bit, but in the end, too much quality, good attractive rugby league, and fully deserved the win. Toronto, for mine, were never in the races.
As London have found in these qualifiers, you can't give a team too much start. And they learned, obviously, against Toulouse. That's probably the result of the weekend in the qualifiers, that London are now well and truly in the mix for at least the £1 million game. I think the way they started and blew Toulouse away was everything they'd learnt in the previous 2 games, where you give it 20 points away inside the first 20 minutes, you're not going to win.
Rich?
Toronto and London, £1 million game, $1 million game, Canadian dollars, in Canada. at the moment.
Well, yeah, but you say that at the moment, but,
However,
you know, had London have scored one more try in Toronto last week, that game would now be being played in London. Toulouse are only behind on points difference out of the gate by 9 points. This is going down to the wire, and as much as we want to write Widnes and Halifax off, one of them is probably going to win this weekend. Are we down to 6, or is it still
Widnes,
6 plus the one that wins next weekend?
The unfortunate thing for Widnes is they are the Cleveland Browns of the world of rugby league, aren't they? So they probably will draw.
They'll find a way
against
not to
Halifax,
win.
Not win against Max at the weekend. That's going to be a massive TV audience, isn't it?
Where's
Widnes are no good.
Where's
Halifax are, we like Halifax. Halifax do
Widnes,
things
is
the
that
right
Widnes?
way. But playing against Widnes, who are not very good.
If it is Toronto against London, will it not be in London anyway? Because aren't Toronto buying London?
Well, we'll go back to
Different
that.
one.
We'll go back to that. We'll certainly come on to that in a minute. Don't forget to get your interactions in at 4020 Live on Twitter. You can get in touch on the Facebook page as well. Rich, what's happening? You've brought your computer again, haven't you?
Well, that was Tom. That was someone who's not here. People have
He's just been fined half his match
Yeah.
fee, which is nothing.
Yeah. People have asked us about.
Oh, apparently I must apologise. Last week, apparently one of our listeners was jogging, and when I banged the bell, and because it was that loud, it's louder on the podcast. I know I have a few little sound issues on the YouTube on the live feed, but if you watch on YouTube, it is better. And also on the podcast, it's very loud.
Right.
And one of our listeners was running along the road, and I banged the bell, and he went, "What the?" and nearly got run over.
Apologies for that.
Do you want to go jogging this week, Schoey, and listen to the podcast?
No, thank you.
All right.
No, thank you.
40,
We've got public liability insurance.
4020 Live, the only programme that kills its viewers and listeners. Great stuff.
Tells them not to listen and kills the rest.
Giving showcasing the personalities of rugby league.
By the way, and I'm jumping in, I've asked you a
it's
question,
okay,
but I
yeah.
want to thank everyone again last week. We did really well in the podcast charts last week. Thanks to everyone that has downloaded the podcast and subscribed to it, left us a rating. What we're going to do this week, can we ask the question? All those that have subscribed that are listening now, if you haven't done so, if you subscribe now while you're on, you can do that on iTunes. Send us like a screenshot of your phone saying you subscribe. We'll pick a winner. We've got a fantastic prize to give away at the end of the show. So we'll do that, no problem. So let us know you've subscribed to the podcast, been in the charts, doing really well. We're really thankful for that. Right.
Prize is a picture of Eddie Romba.
Yeah, signed by the legend.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
What number would he be? Number 2 or number 5 in your worst ever Leeds team?
He's not win. Of course he is. He's
Yeah,
not
what
win.
number? 2 or 5?
I forgot what we was left all right, but what it was, it was useless. I can reassure you.
Eddie, if you're listening,
In Kenya.
Dewsbury legend. We want to know where all our listeners who are in Peru and Panama, because we get the numbers of where people are listening to us from, unless they're using those things where you circumvent the internet so you can watch illegal Netflix. Or
yeah, which then makes us worry about what type of characters we've got watching this show.
I've no worries. We know what type of characters are watching.
third biggest audience for this programme, which granted, after the UK gets, this is not a close run thing. Australia second, Canada third biggest audience for the programme. Yeah.
We're big in Canada.
Big in Canada. Robert, someone's complaining that we're talking about Leeds again. So just for you, here's Robert, who says, totally agree, Phil. It was a very nervous game, Widnes versus Leeds. Thought Widnes youngsters were brilliant, especially Lyons and Walker. Need to base the team next year around youngsters. Well, they do, Robert, apart from they're all going to be bought by Wigan and Warrington. Probably.
Ollie Ashelbolt signs a new contract, which is great.
Why?
But is it so they can get a fee for him?
Yeah,
when
but
he
is it
moves
not
on?
going to be invalid anyway? I don't know how it works. I know in football, if you're under a certain age, then you've got to pay a fee for him regardless.
I would
but
think if you're playing in the Championship as well, there'll be a release clause.
it's
But
a
I
little
think by
bit.
being signed, you're almost guaranteed a fee.
Yeah, but Phil, he says the League Expresso with his piece, what he's done in there, he said there's not a release clause on it. And he's committed. He's a Widnes lad, Widnes on his side, so if they do go to the Championship, he's playing there. He's staying the kid.
Warrington on the phone, he'll do what he wants.
What did we make last week, by the way? James Rule coming out with his video encouraging the fans to get behind the team. Now, in fairness to the Widnes fans who've not seen their team win for a hell of a long time, I think it's 20 odd games. If you take out the win over Coventry, it's 20 odd games since they last won. And I'm not doing commentary. We are friends with the club. But
They're
that doesn't
two
count.
tiers below.
That doesn't count. Had they lost to them, I would have expected Widnes to shut down. But what do we think of James Rule coming out? I mean, he got absolutely hammered, and it seemed to me a month, maybe even 2 or 3 months too late, really.
I thought the Widnes fans were great yesterday. Really got behind the team. There was no dissent. Their team put in a performance that would get them behind them. They were very, very committed. I think they showed a glimpse of perhaps what they can be, even if they have to, as Robert said, build round youth in the Championship, because I'm pretty sure that's where they are destined to be. But does it really matter what administrators say? The fans just want to see players on the field giving their all, and some players who perhaps haven't performed at their best this year. Some of the more experienced end of the Vikings team were very good yesterday. But
too little too late though, Phil. Too little too late. Where have they been for the last 3-4 months?
Absolutely. Well, that was one of the questions I put to Francis Cummins, that on the one hand, you're pleased that what you've seen on the training field was transferred onto the pitch, which is all you've been asking of your players. On the other hand, you think, well, if you've done it this week, why couldn't you do it for the other 5 weeks? Difficult one. I think there was a cup tie feel, cup final feel. I think both teams knew that, almost last chance saloon to avoid the £1 million game. So it was a little bit like rugby league rubbernecking. You didn't want to look, but you couldn't take your eyes off it, and quality was poor because of what was at stake. But what couldn't be denied was the commitment and passion of the Widnes players, and the fans responded to that.
What was the reaction like at the end? Because Leeds obviously scored really late, didn't they?
77 minutes, yeah. Richie Myler as well, who will have obviously started his career there. I think there was a realism. They'd given a team that was ranked above them a really good game. I think going to playing a Championship team at home at losing, it makes you absolutely crestfallen. Going to Toulouse and not performing, difficult. But yesterday, in one of the highest ranked games they're going to play in that mini competition, they gave it their all.
Giving it their all, though, Scott. It's another defeat. They sort of won. They don't look like winning. And you know what? If you're brutally honest, you won't back them to beat Halifax, would you?
No, not at all. No way, because they say Halifax has no pressure on them. They know themselves they're going nowhere near the £1 million game, so they'll go there with that freedom and their expression, and there's no pressure on them. So if Widnes, if they have any sort of opportunity to get in that £1 million game, they're desperate for that win against Halifax. But all the pressure's on Widnes from there. It has been a massive problem all season. Well, not just this season. It has been for maybe the last 2 or 3 seasons for Widnes. It's that consistency, playing at a decent level, week in and week out. And it's all right saying, well, we'll do it 1 week and then leave it alone 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, that's not good enough. But at the end of the day, mate, it's simple again. The players, from a consistent basis, at a decent level, week in and week out, they're not good enough. Simple as that.
Okay. Have we written them off too early, Rich? Have they gone? Is that them gone now? I mean, officially, they can still more than make it.
Widnes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gone.
Done?
Surely they're gone. If they get out of this and are in Super League next year,
it's a bigger escape than the Catalan Dragons.
I'll put the question to the three of you then. How are Widnes going to get out of this then? How are they going to get out of it?
Well, the best they could hope is to be in the £1 million game with 6 points.
Right, all right. Well, how are they going to get
playing
6 points?
Away to some,
how are they going to get 6 points?
A team that hasn't won for 17 consecutive weeks is not going to win 3 weeks on the trot.
So they're not going to get anywhere near that.
So I think they're done. I think they might be at Halifax.
Who've they got left to play then? They've got Halifax, they've got Hull Kingston Rovers, and they have got Toronto. Is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
So
2 away games then. Hull Kingston and Toronto.
Pretty tough, I would imagine.
Well, it's good now. God bless the Championship.
They're gone.
Widnes.
The problem the Widnes fans have with their chief executive cannot be solved with no matter how many videos they post on social media, because they don't want him in that role. And having been a supporter of a club where you have chief executives coming out with statements and you don't necessarily believe what they're saying, you can't get that trust back. And I'm not saying James Rule in that sense. I'm talking about people in the past at Wakefield. They don't buy it.
But the fans are holding him responsible, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whether that's fair or not,
yeah, but that's
they're holding him responsible. They're not looking at Dennis Betts or Francis Cummins. They're looking at him as a man who's overseen.
It's the same at Hull, though, isn't it? Adam Pearson's on TV last week on the Golden Point on Sky, and they have him on the phone, and he's come up with his list of excuses to why Hull have lost 8 in a row, including losing by 80 and 70 odd points. And it was a list of all these things, none of which were him. Going to Australia, which team's second in the table?
Which he agreed to.
Which team's second in the table?
They went to Australia.
Did they go to Australia?
Yeah.
Are they second in the table?
Yeah,
Are they a team people think are going to win the grand final?
probably so.
So Wigan, right. So Australia, the World Cup. How many players did Hull have at the World Cup compared to, say, Catalans?
Oh, St Helens. Where are St Helens?
Everything else was blamed, this, that and the other. The
Injuries.
structure, too many meaningless games, because in the old days of Rugby League, when Schoey played, and the league was won in, October by Wigan, what did the other teams have to play for?
I was going to say, what people go on about this, right? And I get it in terms of the Super 8s. There are, if you're going into the 8s and you can't win it, there's almost, well, why are you winning it? But in your day, when Wigan won every game, and I know they were pushed close sometimes,
3-4 times, yeah.
but on other times they weren't. You knew by 5-6 games in, we're playing for second place. You didn't go, we won't bother, lads. We won't turn up.
No. Oh, well, at the end of the day, because we knew, we had an international calendar, and also the Yorkshire Belt, so representing everyone from there. But also as well, mate, to be honest with you, the pay structure was all different in them days. It was, win pay and losing pay. That's a massive difference. There were no contracts in them days. It was the old contract system when you signed, as an amateur, and then you got your money when you played A-team and first team in Yorkshire and under 24s and representative football. But at the end of the day, it was all about, winning and losing pay.
Do you mind telling us what was the difference between winning and losing for you?
Yeah, when I first started at Hull, the winning pay was £150, less tax and insurance, and losing pay was £40.
Right, so more than 3 times your wage.
Which in 1926, that was a big difference.
It was,
So and then when I moved to Leeds, in '87, the winning pay was 300, and losing pay 80. So again,
it's a massive difference.
It's a massive difference.
Wow. And what would you got at Wigan if you'd gone there?
Move on.
Only winning pay.
Move on.
Yeah, we don't do losing pay, just winning pay. Just winning pay. We'll let you have one every now and again.
I mean, we'll talk no doubt more about the CGM on Friday, which is scandalous in itself to be even talking about changing the structure 2 weeks from the end of the season. But I just throw this in to think about before we do. We want to go to 1 up, 1 down. How is that going to give us more meaningful fixtures? Widnes this year had won 3 games at the end of the regular season.
Well,
they would have been relegated.
But is the theory that because they knew, and players maybe mentally going, well, look, as you said, you've got 3 chances, so we've blown the first one, so let's just cruise through now and we'll try and improve at the end. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it.
What would be to play for you go to a top 5 and 1 down, when you're 3/4 of the way through the season and you virtually know you can't be relegated and you can't make the play.
I agree.
The structure is
but
exactly the same.
That's sport.
Yeah,
so Adam Pearson going, there's meaningless games. Well, what
there's
he'll have
gonna
next
be
year,
more.
he'll be going into his Luke fixtures going, we can't win the league, we're not going to get relegated, these are meaningless
and we're
fixtures.
playing Wakefield for the 5th time.
Yeah, there you go. So that
it's
they are.
nonsense.
It is bizarre.
We need a steward's inquiry, by the way, because Bilko's been on Twitter. 15 aside on the pitch.
Oh,
We got 2 extra men.
oh, what's happened?
Get them flankers
Phil,
off there. Get
I
them off.
thought
Get
you
rid of
knew
them.
the rules. Am I allowed to kill one?
Well, I wouldn't go that
Hold
far.
on. John Gallagher, Eddie Rumble. See you later. See you later. See you later.
We're not Salford.
See. Who else?
There's 2
Gary
regularly
Schofield.
That's a bit.
Oh, he just took his mate out.
collateral
The one
damage.
he got
That was PDRL.
That's a bit harsh.
Oh, no. It's all gone wrong. Bilko, look what carnage. That's what happens when you try and change the rules
These are
midway
valuable
through.
antiques.
It's causing a brawl on Sabutia. What's all that about? Disciplinary.
I do like the randomness though of the scrum machine in Sabutia Rugby, where you put the ball in and then shake it and it goes out on one side or the
Contested scrums.
Yeah.
Are back.
other. Oh, see Wakefield tried that against Wigan the other day and the ref wasn't having any of it. Can't have these scrums, none of that. He's got the ball there, look.
Look at this.
It's one of those British-
You know what Phil gets up to now, don't you?
The ball, he's
When
asleep.
we're not here, you know what happens now.
Can you put
listener.
the ball in water so it represents the rhino ball?
I'll tell you what. Well, I'm not
What
seeing
he
Cap.
did.
I'm not seeing Cap and here at Sabutia because I can't see anybody with knee bandage on. Can you?
This is life size.
Yeah, it
Can't
is.
see anybody with knee bandage.
Going back then, so we've spoken about Widnes. They're doomed. We all believe they're doomed. Leeds have scraped by. We should mention, and I know people don't like talking about Leeds, but they were so close to losing at the weekend. But they have got a new coach, Dave Furner.
Yep.
Surprise, has got the gig. I saw a quote from Kevin Sinfield saying he put a list together a couple of months ago, which is interesting because I thought we were going to review it at the end of the season. But there you go.
Yeah, I think the 2004 team on the field is now being replicated off it. Furner was one of Kevin Sinfield's major mentors around that time when he was made captain of the team at a young age. He's got Chev Walker and Rob Burrow in his staff now, who were also part of that. So I can see why that would be his preferred choice. The other thing I think that I think Ferner left a real impression on that young Leeds team. That his final game was the 2004 Grand Final. He was actually injured in the warm-up. He shouldn't have played the game. He was told that I think he pulled a muscle in his leg and that he should be pulled out and put somebody else in. The rest of the players knew that. He said, "No, I'm playing." And he was a massive influence in that game. And I think that the young kids looked at what it took to be an absolutely top-line professional player. Really bought into the fact that that's what they needed to be to make this. Well, it's the ethic behind the dynasty. So I can see why he would be the preferred choice. I think it also puts to bed any talk that Kevin Sinfield's been a coach, because he clearly hasn't.
Schoey, you happy, Ferner?
Well, he's a coach, isn't he? You know, and but one thing for sure from there, though, and I know Phil's mentioned.
But he knows the club, as Phil said. That's got to be a positive, hasn't it?
Well, a lot of us know the club, but we're not going to get coaching gig, are we?
Yeah, but he's good. He can coach.
Oh, is he? He do a very good job at Canberra, I can tell you. But
I think he did a pretty good job as an assistant to Tim Sheens with Australia.
As assistant, what I'm saying. Oh no, Phil. And I could coach Australia still with welcome. Don't give me that rubbish.
All right, North Queensland.
Don't give me that rubbish. Two coaches who've been over here who made the names: Ian Millward and Sean McRae, because he had the best players at second. So this is what I'm saying about Leeds now with David Ferner. The question, as I keep saying, players make coaches, coaches don't make players. Has Ferner got the quality to get us where we want to get to? I don't think he has.
I still think there'll be some changes on the playing staff.
Well, how is it? I thought we salary capped up.
Well, some won't be there whose contracts run out. Some maybe asked if they would like to move on.
Can you tell us then who they are?
I have no idea.
Has Richie Marr has to move on?
That's part of it.
Has Richie Marr has to move on?
Why should he? He'll be in the top three for Player of the Year this year at Leeds.
Well, that's how bad we've been.
That's like saying you've been the top three of pundits on this show, Phil. It doesn't really mean a good deal.
That's true.
In fairness,
that's true.
In fairness, someone did ask on one of the Rugby League forums, Total RL, what our credentials are to sit alongside the legend.
All right, okay.
I think we've got 46 caps between us.
This show's got this show is the only show on Facebook that has got 46 Great Britain caps.
Absolutely.
If that doesn't give you...
And if it weren't for Phil Larder, we'd have had some more as well, I'll tell you.
I'm Maurice Lindsay. We'd have had 50. Don't worry about that. We'd have had down.
There you go, you see.
And we'd have had a World Cup winners medal as well, because if I'd have been selected in the 95 squad, as I should have been, we'd have beaten Australia in the final.
I'm going to change the name of the podcast to It's All Maurice Lindsay's Fault, and then we'll get all the people who hate Maurice Lindsay to subscribe to our podcast as well.
So there you go. So no, Rich, Phil and I know nothing.
No.
Nothing.
But we know nothing.
Yeah, we never claimed to.
No. Anyway,
and also we've got free England caps as well.
Oh yeah, forgot about them.
Oh,
yeah.
Free England caps for all boys.
How many for Yorkshire?
3 for Yorkshire as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
What we might have in Super League though is half of the competition being coached by Australians. So again, we started with nearly all Australians, swung it back to a lot of UK coaches. Some of them were young. We're now going back to the Australian.
We're talking about with the Australian coaches. Ferner's coming to Leeds then. If he brings us boring style of player, how will Leeds fans take to it?
Why would he bring a boring?
No, I'm asking the question. Well, because he's Australian coach, isn't he?
But North Queensland weren't boring when they won the NRL in 2015 with
but he
was
not Jonathan Thurston. Boy, oh boy, Phil, do me. Are you not listening? Coaches don't make players; it's players who make coaches. You know what I mean? You know, so and he's only been assistant. So at times, that just means putting cones out and that sort of thing.
No,
you know what I mean?
I think the signing of people like Lola here and McClelland mean that they intend to play attractive.
Right, I'm only asking the question.
Lola here, who we coached because he was an assistant with Tonga.
If they don't, I'll tell you what, he's done plenty of assistant coaching jobs, hasn't he? But one thing for sure here now, the question what I'm asking is, if we do play the boring type of rugby league, the Leeds fans won't take to that, will they? They won't.
They wouldn't mind one season of boring rugby league that's successful.
They won't want boring rugby league.
No way, mate. They had to play conservative yesterday to get the work done.
I tell you what I know, though.
But I think there will be a change.
One thing for sure is Kevin Sinfield will be like that now. Oh, thank God for that. I'm not going to be doing any coaching responsibilities. We're getting where we want to get to. That's going to be the survival from there. But now the relief for Kevin, because he didn't anywhere near want to get. To be honest with you, you should have said to Gary, no, I'm not being associated with any of the coaching. It's as simple as that. I'm here for director Rugby, just let Lordsy get on with it, as simple as that. Because he has been the coach and he has been doing all the point of view from picking the side, how they should be playing, and all what goes on with coaching from there. But now, the relief from him, get on with the job what he's brought there to do, and hopefully he's allowed to do what he wants to do.
We will see. Get your opinions in at 4020 live on Twitter and on Facebook. Rich, what's happening?
Yeah, first of all, hello to Chris, who has tweeted us because he's just been told he's losing his job.
Oh,
but
we know how that feels.
He was happy
sadly.
that we're on, so good luck, Chris. I got a good luck message from Nicky Campbell when I was unemployed, so we're not quite the same as Nicky, but good luck.
Hope you get what you want.
Gary Wilson wants Schoey to be the next coach of Widnes. Further up the...
Gary is a Warrington fan. That's the other Gary.
They're in enough pain as it is.
Steve wants him to be the coach of
That's a
Hull.
bit harsh, Phil. A bit harsh. Listen, do you want me to tell the stats at Huddersfield and then tell you the coaches after?
No.
Well, there you go.
No, we left the copyright to that elsewhere. John's asked what's happened to McDermott. I heard a rumour, as the least connected man in rugby league, that Brian McDermott was being linked with a job at a club that might be in Super League next year. But there's somebody already in that job, so it'd be unfair to refer to them.
Does he speak French?
And it's not in Montreal. We've got a listener in Montreal or Quebec, so hello Quebec. Bonjour.
Yeah.
We do want to know where you're coming from. Danny says we sound like we're sat in a biscuit tin.
We are.
We've eaten a biscuit.
We are.
So
We're working on it. Come on, give us a chance.
Robert says Widnes are gone. They'll beat Halifax but won't beat Toronto and Hull KR. Elsewhere, Steve's lost any news on Wakefield and Castlewood's new grounds? No.
We've only been off a week.
Come on now. Sign the petition.
We will have microphones before they get
yeah. Caroline has subscribed to the podcast. I'd love to win a signed anything by the legend. Well,
We'll sort that out.
To be fair, most things are signed by the legend.
There's nothing in this building that isn't signed by the legend.
Also, sick of ref bashing. Maybe touch judges need to have more responsibility.
Kenny Edwards made that point, didn't he? When he got stuck into
Will
the
he get
fans.
fined for that? For what he said about match
Well,
officials?
if they haven't fined Barrow, although they've only just
They
made
must.
their thing, and they didn't find Castleford when they had a go at the referees earlier in the season, or every other club who has, then I think the people who run these social media accounts, and I understand that at some clubs...
Just to jump in there, the Seattle Seahawks last night had... They got a touchdown against them, and at the time it looked like no touchdown. Initially, the official didn't give it, and then they all had a conflab and they gave it, and they put a Twitter poll up on their thing. Was that a try? Was that a touchdown? It's like, what's he got? He's been given on it.
As long as you all stand up for the anthem, Donald Trump will tweet the support for him. But I understand that a lot of social media accounts and at clubs below Super League are probably manned on match days by people who are young and probably doing it for nothing. But when you are tweeting under the name of your club or Facebook or whatever, you are representing that club and you are the official voice of that club. And you can't go around saying we've lost because of the referee, especially not when you've lost by 20 points. Come on.
You can't say it anyway.
Just don't do it. We've had the big, sports are nonsense, isn't it? And at the weekend we had the big final of the tennis with Serena Williams in New York, and the WTA have come out today basically defending her and having a go at the umpire who made the decision based on the rules of the game and the evidence in front of him. So basically they've hung the umpire out to dry. The umpire should go on strike in tennis. I tweeted this earlier. What happens if the referees say, no, we're not doing it today? You slag us off on social media all the time. We're not doing it. What are they going to do then? What are Barrow going to do when they haven't got their, whatever the crowd is? Let's have a look. League One, Championship even, Championship Shield. Barrow at Dewsbury, 807 people. So say Dewsbury and Barrow, that game doesn't go ahead. Barrow slagged off the referee. In fact, who were Barrow at home to this week? Swinton. So whatever Barrow get at home, right, game's cancelled. Barrow have to refund Swinton for coming up because the referee's not playing because we slagged them off.
Barrow Swinton.
Tough.
That could be a big game if we knew what the structure was.
I mean, we haven't seen the game, but it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Because you can't call referees cheats, costing you games, thieves, liars, whatever.
You cannot claim that one of your major values is respect if you don't find the official Twitter feeds of clubs that don't show respect to match officials.
Yeah. So you would endorse that happening, would you?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And I think there are quite a few clubs out there that tread a very fine line. If you are on the official Twitter feed, give information, don't pass opinion. If you pass opinion, you get fined.
Yeah. Can I ask as well, club Twitter feeds? Because when we work elsewhere and stuff, and you follow a lot of games on Twitter, put the score on the tweet. Some of them, you've got to scroll back 30 tweets to find out what the score. Put the score on.
There's another bugbear. Do a new tweet every time. Don't tag it onto your first tweet, so you've got to scroll down for 20 minutes to get the latest one.
There you go.
Basically, make our jobs easier.
Yeah. You don't have these problems, Ledge, do you? No. You used to look on CFAX for the results.
Absolutely. We're nothing with CFAX.
We talk about referees. What about referees being... No, I'm going to use the word conned by players milking things.
Did you see Greg Bird at the weekend?
Gary Schofield.
Oh boy, did you see Greg Bird? You know what? Greg Bird as a player, total respect, quality player. You've got to be a quality player in the way that he's playing in NRL, State of Origin, Australia. But boy, oh boy, did you see that dive he took? And if that's what the game's coming to, well, I'm sorry, he needs banning for that. He needs banning for it himself. It was absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, as we've said, though, and he's not the only one, right? We've seen, you give a rugby league player the ball and tell him to run forward, it takes 4 men to stop him. Yeah. He gets up at the player the ball and a gust of wind, he falls over.
Yeah.
There's more than him doing.
No, Mark, I have not seen one like that. Have you not seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, no. The player what he is and the toughness what he shows. He went down about a second and a half after I'm not so sure he made contact with him. You know, the lead runner. But no, Greg, you are far better than that, mate, so please stop it. And also as well, all rugby league players, whatever division you're in, whether you're in League One, Championship or Super League or even amateur level, please stop being pathetic and faking injuries and faking as though you want penalties.
And please play on if somebody's got cramp.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of little things we could do as a sport to tidy up a lot of the issues that we've got. You know, we watch a lot of rugby.
But Mark, the question is, why have these little things come in? And at times you've got to blame coaches because coaches are letting the players get away with it.
I'm not sure that Steve McNamara will have been too pleased with Greg Bird for that.
Well, I haven't seen him come out and criticise him.
So
he can't have been that unhappy.
I suppose it had the desired effect as well, didn't it? Ends justifies the
means. He got
tried disallowed. Yeah.
Got tried disallowed. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
Maybe we should have allowed the try to stand and then he wouldn't have done it next time.
Well, given some of the forward passes that were on offer at the weekend, but hey, we're not ref bashers, we'll get on with it. Let's get back to the qualifiers then. Undoubtedly, for many, the game of the weekend was down in the capital. A game I feel London had to win, and London did win, and they won pretty convincingly, didn't they? 34-8 over Toulouse. It puts them in the mix now for the £1 million game, Phil.
Absolutely. I think you're right. That was almost must win for London. And the fact now that they're level with Toulouse and Toronto, destiny really is in their own hands for the £1 million game. My only reservation, I love the way they play. I think it's brilliant what they're doing, bringing young players through. Danny Ward has got to be coach of the year in that division, I think, for what he's done. Where, bearing in mind that even though, you know, Schoey genuinely thought they might finish 10th because of the change in personnel there. To be so close to actually getting promotion is sensational with 3 games to go. My only worry is that nobody is saying what they will do if they get promoted. Now we've got this ridiculous scenario at the moment that obstacles are being put in the way of teams so late on. You know, Toronto are still not 100% sure exactly what's expected of them if they go up. So should we not be asking the trail finders who own the ground that they play at, that currently is not fit for purpose for Super League, what the plans are? Doesn't everybody need to know that if they do go up, they can play in Super League?
But is that not something they should have done again?
In
advance?
Yeah.
And I don't want to use the word franchising, but there was a list of standards that you had to meet. And I know there were problems with the system and people didn't agree with it, but there have got to be standards at grounds, haven't they? Or you've got to make... It happens in the football. The football, there's a bit of leeway, especially coming out of the lower divisions. You're allowed a little bit more time to get it right, but there's still a cap put on it.
But we're 3 games away from knowing whether London... or 4 games away if they go through the £1 million.
Okay.
Why do we not know? Why is there not transparency as to what is expected of them and what they are going to do about it should they get promoted?
Okay, well, I'm sure internally there will have been discussions. A word for Danny Ward. I know everyone gets stuck into you about, you said they'd finished 10th, blah, blah, blah. But they are in now with a fighting chance of getting back into Super League.
Yeah, and absolutely delighted. And not just delighted for Danny, but the players themselves as well. And I say, when I saw the lads, down at Wembley after, and they were saying, well, why did you say A, B, C and D? And I gave them my reasons why, but one thing for sure, they have surprised everybody, again, because of the consistency of what they play. But also as well, with Danny Ward, also too, again, Phil's best comment at the moment, the assistant coach, the assistant in Jamie Langley, they've done a great job. They've got response from the players like the company, the players like the dressing room, and one thing for sure, they're allowed to express themselves, Mark, and he's getting the best out of his players on a consistent basis. And I'll tell you, don't rule London out being a £100 game, and as a one-off, 80-minute factor, some of the players that they've got, and they have got a maverick in
Samet.
In Samet from there, boy oh boy, he can turn it on. And so I'll tell you, don't rule them out the £1 million game, and for 80 minutes they could see themselves back in Super League.
I think the other thing about it as well that is so commendable is that they came back from Toronto, so they had all of those issues of travel. Never mind that they got beaten in Toronto, just the logistics. And to put up a performance like that, to be so dominant early, and spoke to a couple of people who were at the game saying that Toulouse didn't turn up. It was a very un-Toulouse-like performance, but they could not cope with the way London started that game, which is exactly what they'd learned from the previous two matches.
Toulouse didn't turn up. That's not London's fault, is it?
No. Well,
you get what you deserve.
And actually, when you blow them away because of the quality with which you play, great, brilliant.
Rich, what's happening in the world of social media?
Well, we have exciting transfer rumour news from Sandy. What do you guys think of the rumours that Toronto have signed TV and podcast star John Wilkin? As new to rugby, I don't know much about him. He doesn't like cameras in dressing rooms, Sandy. So that's the big rumour, apparently.
You could see it. We said that at the time, didn't we?
Is that contingent upon them getting promotion, though?
Well, look,
or will John Wilkin play in the Championship next season, do you think?
I would say if he signed a deal, I think he's the type of guy who would.
I think obviously Toronto needs another coffee shop.
But
Manchester.
We've had our joust about John Wilkin. I haven't seen him kick a ball for about 4 months, which is great. He's playing in a team that are doing really well. Well, they've done really well this season. He's still got something to offer, hasn't he? You talk about Toronto if they do get up, and I think we've seen in this series they need to improve their team.
Well, one thing for sure, what John Wilkin is a quality rugby league player. I've never said he isn't, but as we say about his kicky game, leave it alone, John. But he has done for the last 4 months, and we've seen what he brings to St Helens. And one thing for sure as well, with St Helens' performance on Saturday against Catalans, they looked a far better outfit with Barber not playing. They looked a far better outfit. The forwards answered plenty of questions. I've ripped into the forwards last week, certainly in the column regarding their toughness. Pretty tough against the Catalans. They showed a lot of character, did St Helens, on Saturday, which has been questioned. They looked a lot happier without Barber. But as far as John Wilkin goes, he's not a journeyman. He's still got plenty to offer. If he's signed for 2 years, he will bring in that quality. And I say, Rowley and Noble, if they're going to be there for next year, from a point of view, they know they've got too many journeymen. They know they've got too many players who aren't good enough to play Super League week in and week out. But John Wilkin, he can still play Super League week in and week out.
I think he's the ultimate professional. He's exactly what they need when you talk about culture that you're trying to build in a dressing room. Been there, done that. Can play in a variety of positions, but more on the training paddock. I think he can give direction. The other thing about that result for Saints, I thought that was a really, really important win for them. That is not an easy place to go. That is not an easy place to try and find a victory late on in the game. But to do it without James Roby, never mind Ben Barber, I thought that was a really significant win for St Helens. That puts them back on track for them.
We'll talk about them a little bit more later on. So for Wolfpack, was there another name mentioned there?
No, not going to. Although someone said they'd like Jared Samet, but
who's off contract at the end of the year, supposedly going back to Australia.
We'll see. I'm sure a Super League contract down in London won't go amiss.
I don't know if Steve Mascord is watching. I'm sure he will be at some point, because I know he likes to be ahead of the trend with these things, with his merchandise shop, which we're not going to name for legal reasons. But £1 million converts to 1.7 million Canadian dollars. So Steve, get those t-shirts printed up just in case it all goes right. Maybe we could get a big cheque printed up with $1.7 million on it, and David Argyle can run on the pitch.
Were you disappointed with Toronto? I mean, I know there was a second half comeback, but they've given themselves far too much to do at Salford, and they have yet to play a consistent 50 minutes against the Super League team.
Phil, that's the problem they've got, because the players aren't good enough. They aren't good enough to play at quality level week in and week out.
But in the Championship, they won that by a canter. So what are we saying about the gap between, maybe Widnes aside, who have been on a downward spiral for a
Well,
while.
all right. Well,
Are
look
we
at-
saying
right, well, look at-
about the Championship quality and the Super League quality?
The Toronto side, they're all ex-Super League players who nobody else wants. So what have Toronto done? They've signed them because they've got the Super League experience on there, and they're far better players than what the Championship have got to offer with the lesser sides. But now, if they do get the Super League, and as I say, Paul Rowley, the respect I have for Paul and Brian Noble, they know they've got too many journeymen. They can't do it week in and week out. The intensity's not there in the Championship. That's why they've absolutely hammered it from there. But now, what they've played 3 Super League clubs already now, and you know, simply not good enough. You know, Ulkis and Rovers, all right, the scoreline reflected might have been a bit of a close game, but they were far better. We saw what happened in the Challenge Cup from there, and certainly against Salford at the weekend for 40 minutes, just literally blown off the park. So, again, consistency at a decent level, they're not good enough.
But also tell us about the quality of player that there is out there in the market.
Well,
because they were...
There's
by
too many. There's
some
too
distance,
many
the best
journeymen. There's too
Championship
many journeymen about. It's as simple as that, you know. And I say, when you look at the quality, you look at the cast, look at Warrington and Wigan and Saints. They don't have too many journeymen, do they?
York. Praise for York from Andy. York Knights win, nearly 1,700 watching yesterday
Yes,
against Oldham.
well done.
Not
Brilliant,
affected that it was broadcast live on the internet.
It's
How
funny
amazing is that? Oh, that said, and I tweeted this yesterday, on the BBC website yesterday, you could watch live climbing
Climbing up what?
walls.
Oh, right.
Modern pentathlon and stuff like that. I know the RFL wants to drive people to download this app, and I know it's important to get numbers, and we should really be putting these stuff and giving it to the widest audience possible, because then more people who don't watch Rugby League and aren't going to download an app might watch these things, like the Rugby Union Championship showing games on Facebook. There's a reason why they do that.
Yeah,
But there you go.
I agree.
And more praise for York, of course, because their women won their first game
They
of the
did.
season against
Fantastic.
Featherstone.
They did. Well done, ladies.
Cass beat Wigan as well. Did the Leeds beat St Helens?
They did,
'Cause
yeah.
it's not on the-
12-6. It was a brilliant,
It's not on the
game.
RFL website, so I didn't know that
The
result
the
confirmed.
top 4 in that
Yes.
competition
I've got the league
is
table.
wide open.
Saints and Wigan top
No, Leeds are
15
top
points.
now,
Oh, Leeds
because it
top.
doesn't include that result.
Oh yeah, because Leeds are top. Saints and Wigan are just behind them, and I'm a big fan of women's rugby league. I don't know where anyone is. And Cass
Cass.
just behind them.
It's going to be tight. Any one of those
it is.
4 can beat the other on any given day, and I think that is going to be a really, really keen end to the season. I know some big clashes coming up, so
Key players coming
well
back as
done.
well for the big sides as well.
Yes.
So it's all
well
it's
done
all
to the
exciting.
ladies. Well done to the ladies.
And there's something else I was going to say, but I've completely forgotten. So,
That's great. Well done.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you've
that was
got
good.
one job and you've
that
forgotten
was
what
it.
it
No,
is.
Talk show, and we forgot what we're
I'll tell
talking
you what I was going to say, because I've remembered now. Isn't it amazing? Leeds and Castleford have under-19s women's teams, and there are Super League teams who don't have under-19s men's teams. I know there are only 4 teams in Super League who've got an under-19 women's team, but there are teams who haven't got a men's side. The lifeblood of their professional business.
Yeah, well, bonkers. Just going back to the quality, I keep going back to it, but for me it's a tournament where it's all happening
But
at the minute.
isn't this one of the issues? And the talk will be about structure. It shouldn't be. It should be about sustainability. But there isn't anything to talk about at the top of the table. We know the 4 teams. We're pretty certain that St Helens will win the League Leader Shield.
Yeah, but that's
So
on
much
merit.
so that the cameras aren't even going to film them this week.
Well, to
We
be
have
fair,
3
they've
trophies.
been there the last 3 weeks.
But don't you have to follow them? Don't you have to have live a trophy being presented?
I guess
When
we can
there
go
are only
over
3?
that afterwards.
Yeah, but-
no one wants to see Hull again. Oh,
no, I think that's the problem. They're
The
playing
West-
all. They're
No,
playing
the pro-
all.
the
The West
problem
Wales
is-
Raiders of Super League.
There isn't enough interest in the top 4
I don't-
until we get to the
I
semi-finals.
don't even think the whole supporters want to watch Hull, to be honest. They never mind watching it more on television or go.
Do you think
go tell them.
Castleford should have been more ruthless in the second half?
Without a
against
doubt,
Hull?
yeah, without a doubt. And I'm saying, you know what, making me laugh. I was watching the game, and to be honest with you, I couldn't watch the last 20 minutes because of the rubbish they were talking about, the commentators regarding. And me being an ex-Hull player as well, you know, and I know what the supporters feel, you know, what they want from performances, and you know, at half time they're 18-0 down, and all they were saying on TV on the summarisers was simple: what a great performance by Hull. Forget the scoreboard. Forget the scoreboard. It's all about the performance on the. I was like that. Hold on here. They're at home. They're getting hammered 18-0.
Didn't look like scoring either. at
Correct.
that point.
10 minutes into the second half, they go 28-0 down, and then Hull score a try, and then all it was, I'll tell you what great desire, what great purpose this Hull side is showing. Forget the scoreboard. Hold on. The Hull fans will be thinking, Forget the scoreboard. We're getting hammered again. We're getting hammered again at home.
Yeah, in fairness to the fans, I think they appreciated the better in the second half. But can I just claim a bit of credit for that? Second half, Danny Alton didn't play at number 9. He played at standoff, and didn't they look better for it?
Who played at standoff? I tell you what,
didn't they look better
I
for
might
it,
as well put my boots back on if he's playing standoff. But also as well though, but Castleford, as Phil just mentioned from there, they put the cue on the rack, and Cass, never mind getting out of first gear, they did get out of reverse gear. For the last 30 minutes, they just thought, well, we're not showing anybody now what we're going to be doing. Hull are absolutely clueless. They want to come back in the game.
I was at the game. Second half, Luke Gale barely touched the ball. Now, is that because Darrell's quite happy, just keep him out there, doing his defending up and down 10 yards.
Getting match fit.
Everything went through Truman and McShane, obviously. Which obviously again goes back to your point. He clearly trusts the lad to run the game, but they're just building Gale back up. They're getting him back up to speed,
and they don't want to show too much because they know they're going to be playing Wigan in the semi-final. You know,
that's how it looks.
The league table's not going to change, so it's going to be Saints of Warrington, and so they know exactly the fine tuning what they're doing. And as I say, against Hull for the last half hour, it was just simple. They're in reverse. They couldn't be bothered about it because Hull wasn't going to offer anything whatsoever. But what I'm saying about that whole performance the other night was quite simple. Not good enough, boring, dire, and all right, they didn't get hammered by 80 points, but they were never at the races again. Never in the game.
Wayne Bennett's season is done now.
Should
Wayne Bennett be coming here?
He should be over here now.
Should he be looking at Paul McShane to play for England?
Oh mate, the hooker. Well, look at the quality of the hookers that about this.
Hodgson,
the Hodgson, Roby, and Clark. Well, he won't look out of place in an England jersey, you know. But he's been in the squad before. He's been left out, and he's been called back from there. But certainly, he's in with a shout with the Man of Steel. He's in with a shout the player of the season.
Castleford's most important player.
I think Luke Gale is. Don't worry about that. But well, again, when I go on about,
I just think if you took McShane out now, it's like losing Hardacre. He is the heartbeat of that team at the moment. I appreciate Luke Gale. I'm playing.
But again, when you look at the spinal side, what Max Shane is doing, he's taking that pressure off the halfbacks. As I keep saying many times, Max Shane says, right, I'm having 10 minutes. Shut up, you two. I'm having 10 minutes. Let me control this. And that's the confidence of the leadership, what he brings to that side. But then, what he decides to do is say, hold on, after 6 minutes, they've cut for me, you start taking over now. So it's a great combination what they've got. But he's thriving under pressure, he's enjoying that extra responsibility, but still, but also as well, when you look at the way that Luke Gale is, but young Truman as well, one thing for sure, I'm going to make a big statement here now. Garrett Widdop is out of the England side. If we're putting pressure on George Williams, I would be looking at a club combination for the Kiwis, and don't rule out Luke Gale and Truman being the halfbacks for England.
Where's Danny Richardson?
Wow.
Lomax and Richardson.
Well, Richardson's off the boil, and Luke Gale's coming back from there. So Luke Gale will be the loose forward, and young Truman, he will put pressure. Williams is getting back to the sort of form what we know he can show from there. But I would be looking maybe at a club combination. And I'll tell you what, I'd have every confidence in Truman being my number 6.
We've been told off by Lenny and Janet for Hull bashing.
Well, we haven't. We haven't.
Hold on.
I saw them
Hold on. They've lost 8 games on the spin. They conceded 80 points last week. They should have conceded another 50 on Friday, if the truth be told.
My betting balance they should have
Absolutely.
done.
Yeah.
I can't think of a worse performance of a team at Bellevue, bar Wakefield. than Hull in that game.
It's in the top 100 worst ever performances at Bellevue. Sadly, the other night.
By the way, where's that old supporter who wants to challenge me at golf? Dave, is it from Kirkella, Dave? Where are you? I've not heard from you for 4 weeks. Come on, Dave. Have a pop at the legend. Have a pop at the legend if you want. Because I'm right. Full of rubbish.
I understand why television commentators try to build something up when there is nothing there, because that's their job. But I found the commentary absolutely patronising.
Well, it's almost as if Hull are like West Wales or a kids team or something.
It's almost, here's a pat on the head because you haven't lost by 50.
It was embarrassing, Phil.
They pay out the salary.
That's why we're Hull bashing. What are we not seeing that you're seeing, listener? Because I'm not seeing it.
It's everyone else's fault anyway. It's not Hull's fault. It's everyone else's fault.
What I get is that they've got 70% of their salary cap on the sideline. You cannot expect them to win too many games, but there is no excuse in a fully professional sport for twice losing by 70 points and 80 points.
What did I say last week? As a fan, if they'd have lost 28-8 at Warrington, you can forgive that. They're missing their 3 creative players. We know that.
Yeah.
And they did have and I think the fans after the game appreciated the effort that they did put in, even if Cass were very lenient on them. No, but they didn't jack it. They jacked it in the week before, Schoey. They absolutely jacked it in.
Hey, listen, mate. Right. Well, let me just turn that around a little bit. If Cass would have kept the foot on the pedal and kept him 4th or 5th gear, Cass would have got 50 and 60. They would have jacked it in again. The scoreline was all respectable because Castleford didn't get out of reverse gear.
Well, they
for the last 30
got
minutes.
Saints this week, so we'll find out how strong they are, won't we?
Karen says, we know Hull are not good. Just a cheap rant. Leave us alone. I bet Radio Homicide's phone-ins are great these days, aren't they?
Yeah.
Leave us alone.
Leave you alone.
If any club had lost 2 games by record margins...
Yeah, come on. The chairman's come out and...
No.
Go on.
There's reason behind our performances. You're more bothered than us, says Karen. What are the reasons then?
What are the reasons?
As Mark said, it's not the fact that the creative players are injured, because they won't do all the tackling. You can see
listen, I'm going to say it for the last time, you Hull fans. Get your head out of the sand. Get your head out of the sand, because you know the rubbish, and just be open and honest with yourselves.
Picking on Hull now. Who else do we usually pick on?
As Paul Cook said to me the other week, if they were in the bottom 4, they'd be going down the way they're playing at the minute.
And that's the legend in Cookie.
Yeah, there you go.
Start giving him
the
more
other
Judas.
That's the slightly more popular Judas.
we should do that as a tour, shouldn't we? Schoey and Cook, the 2 Judases on tour. Get that written down.
Hold on. Yeah.
Double Judas.
Lee says apparently the reason Hull are rubbish is because they're rubbish.
Well done. Somebody being open on it. He's got his head out of the sand. Well done.
He's an OKR fan.
Hey, I tell you what, I was speaking to the OKR fans when I was up at Leeds last week, and the OKR fans said, "Score, you know what? That performance, Hull and Warrington," he says, it's the best television I've seen for years. And I said, you know what? I've even recorded it, and I've watched it 10 times. OKR fans absolutely loving it.
Talking of Hull KR, are those injuries going to cost them?
I think
because
Quinlan...
Quinlan has been one of their best.
Yeah, he has.
And I know that obviously Justin Carney now, that's the end of his career, but he offers them something. You could see at Leeds he was really important to getting them into the right part of the field for
didn't make
Maguire and
the
Atkins.
normal mistakes.
No, he was disciplined and big blow.
Because
they've not got a huge squad.
Huge. They
cannot replace those 2.
They might be thankful it's London this weekend. That's not anything against London, because London will go and have a crack. It's almost. I think they might just have enough. But you've got to worry. I mean, that could be crucial.
They could slip back into the £1 million game.
We talk about it. We look at it next week. Should London beat Hull KR? Hull KR will not be in the top 3 with 2 games left.
Well, to be honest, I can't see that happening, because what Hull KR have done, they know they would have been in the bottom 4. So this is what they're
I get
for.
that.
You know what I mean, mate? I can't see that happening.
But all it is, devil's advocate, they lose again this week and they lose 2 more. All of a sudden, then they are getting a bit worried.
It's not only that they might lose to London, Toronto play Toulouse, so one of those gets
to 6
on their coattails.
Yeah.
And that game now is incredibly important about who might be in the £1 million game. So if Toulouse are going to hit back, they've got to win in Toronto.
We did have a tweet earlier. How good is Craig Hall? 11 tries in 5 games at the moment for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yeah.
Great signing.
Why didn't Leeds sign him?
And Jackson Hastings.
Hastings.
Yeah, they're short-term contracts. It'll be really interesting to see where they go next year. Jackson Hastings allegedly going to Wigan.
That's what they said on the telly.
Did they?
They did.
It must be true.
It is surprising. Well, again, it's a situation where George Williams might be leaving Wigan as a replacement for him.
Well, you think Hastings will play 7?
So Luluai?
So Sam Powell will be the hooker, will he?
Well, share it between the 2 of them.
Interesting.
They certainly need more competition for places in the half hooker role at Wigan. That would be an interesting sign.
I've got to tell our listeners on the podcast, this is the halfway stage, so if you want to stop and do something else, now's the time to do so. In fact, the T-shirt will be right. Someone asked us to do it.
All right, okay. Well, this is half time.
Yeah.
I tell tell you what,
Some blokes just died now on the podcast. Some blokes just died.
He's had a bell for our cup of teas to be delivered in our brand new cups as well.
Don't you have like a chain we can put with a thing on it? Come on, what does it say?
A dumb waiter.
Also as well, fellas, yeah, and I say I've got my dream team here now. I'm going early. Hold on, I've got my dream team, and I tell you what.
Is Eddie Rombo in it?
This is what I was saying. You Hull fans, you'll be delighted because there's nobody in it. There's nobody. There's not a Hull player. Oh, yeah, there is. Sorry, there is. There is. Oh, there is. Oh, there is. Yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, there is. I'm going to cross him out. Yeah.
My guess
is
you've
got one player in.
There's no Leeds players in, are there?
Sorry?
There's no Leeds players in, are
there? No.
Oh, not even
yeah, you've got one player.
Do you get a vote? Do you get a vote as a member of the media?
No, I don't get a vote. I don't know why don't I? Huh?
Next week it'll be Bofaloon in there. If we can find a picture
of Bofaloon.
Yeah, this was intentionally going to be just general people.
I'll tell you what. Well,
just Leeds players.
Phil's our historian at Leeds. I'll pick my best, our worst Leeds side who I play with at Leeds, and Phil can get all the photos, and we'll put them all on there next week. Will you?
What, and not name them?
Just the photographs on there. They'll be all looking. He hasn't picked me, has he? He hasn't picked me, has he?
It's like style.
Can't we write the names on the back?
Just leave them there. Like John Wells presses the buttons on. We've got a Subbuteo pitch breaking up. Well, what you should have done.
This is proper tactics, isn't
it? He hasn't picked me, has he? Yeah, I was speaking to Carl Hall yesterday.
It was a forward pass. He was stood in front.
He was at Hull on Friday. He was at Hull on Friday.
He's a good form, the lad.
Is he going to sue Tom Lynham for nicking his nickname?
Carl had it first.
Yeah.
What's his nickname?
Tom Lynham's the Flying Pig. This was outed by the BBC, so we can say it now. Because if you hadn't have said it, we would.
Was that Carl Hall's nickname, the Flying Pig? Was it?
Apparently.
That's what I was told by a lead source.
I thought it was the slowest pick.
Harsh. Carl, we know you're watching.
Carl, get your number.
We've spoken about Hull then. We've put the
so you're going to give us your dream team?
Yeah, go on then. Hold on. We'll have.
Let's get a bit of debate, don't we?
Let's just finish off rounding up the what happened in Super League. Then Huddersfield, their charge is over. Valiant
Not
effort.
Mathematically, but it is.
No, it is mathematically over.
Go and get the door.
They need 8 points from 3 games, Phil. Now, I think even
they can't do that.
I know even the legends can work that.
No, it was this week that they had to win.
It was this week they had to win. They didn't win, but a heroic effort nevertheless from. Oh look, he's just put it. He's put it
on the pitch.
He's only gone and put it on the pitch. And if there's any dribbles on that pitch is ruined.
Is it like
game
the
abandoned? It'd be Wakefield.
It's the water splash. Oh, it's the tea flash.
It'd be Wakefield and Warrington all over again.
Hey,
very good.
It's the tea flash.
Very good.
New mugs.
Thanks to our sponsor. There we go. The 4020 mugs. We got moaned at last week. We didn't have any mugs. We've now got mugs.
People say I work with 3 mugs.
Mugs for the mugs.
Well, you beat us to it. Yeah, look at
that. Richard's having gin.
Yeah. Health and safety gone mad there as Rich pours gin.
Nothing wrong with the pitch. The pitch is waterlogged.
Oh, that's good. Huddersfield's charge is over.
Yes.
But I think we should pay tribute to the fact that A, they got to this stage, and B, they took it ultimately out of the last 4 games of the season.
I think more importantly, we put them down as real contenders for the top 4 in 2019 on the basis of what they've done towards. They're not going to get anything other than better. Right. They've got a real solid base and a foundation to work on. The ethic that Simon Woolford has brought in, I think there'll still be a couple of signings. We haven't heard yet. Akila Uati has been announced, but I suspect he probably is coming. I think that they've laid down a marker for next year with the performances over the last 3 months. I think they've surprised everybody. When Woolford arrived, absolutely no doubt they were going to be in the bottom 4. We're 3 weeks away from the end of the season.
He admitted I was coming in to prepare a team for the qualifiers.
Yeah. No, they've surprised him.
Yeah.
And I think it's not just him. I think, again, Mark Andrews coming in and changing the fitness regime. Chris Thorman has had a big input, and I think that time he had in charge of him as well gave him a better insight into the players that he had working for him and some of the things they needed to do. Simplified everything, based it all round defence, and given his half-backs a little bit of licence to do what they want.
Juniors reached the top 4 as well. So they're
some good kids coming through.
Isn't it?
Some of their more talented players have been out dual reg, so they've got some game time under their belt. They can start their pre-season. season ends in 3 weeks, they can probably bring it forward a little bit and get some real quality work in.
You say coaches don't make players, but he would be the one that would test your theory because he has made a big difference.
Mark, it's not about the coaching, it's his man management skills what's got the best out of him. As I said before, Gaskell's been useless for the last 2 years. How good has Gaskell been since he took over there? He's seen the talent, he's seen his ability. I want to play. All he is, he's not talking about to catch, pass, tackle and support. He's just giving them that freedom. He's seen the ability.
I think
he's
he's actually given them structure as opposed to freedom.
Yeah, but you have to work in a structure. But still, the players still want a bit of freedom of playing in sort of structures, and that's exactly what they've done. They've enjoyed how he wants them to play. And I tell you what, I'm going early. I'm going early on this one now. I'm going very.
No, it's not like you, Gary.
Listen,
I'm going to win the treble next year.
I'm telling you, don't rule it out. But I'm going early on this one. The Giants will finish in the top 4 next year. The Giants will be in the top 4 2019.
Huddersfield
the Legends words.
Relegated.
Drew,
20.
top 4 of the qualifiers. Drew says, really pleased with, if they have qualifiers next year. Drew says, really pleased with the recovery we have demonstrated since roughly Magic Weekend, praying we can push on next season. I'm assuming Drew is a Huddersfield fan.
They're going to miss Simon Wolford. His retirement and going back to join the Melbourne coaching staff.
No, Ryan Hinchcliffe.
Ryan
bit of breaking news
Sorry,
there.
no.
He's
Sorry,
just
Ryan
quit.
Hinchcliffe.
He's just quit.
If Wolford's left, they're in bottom 4.
no, Simon Wolford, the next coach of Ireland, but that's another story. I think Hinchcliffe has been his general since he came, because they played together at Canberra. Hinchcliffe was just starting as Wolford was retired. He knew what he wanted. He knew him as a personality. He knew how he wanted to play. You need a guy out there that can get the coach's message across, and I think Hinchcliffe was that player. So they're going to have to find somebody to take that role. He's been brilliant in this. I know Gaskell's taking the headlines, but for me it's the reinvention of Ryan Hinchcliffe.
He's going to have a bit of wiggle room as well. And this is what we said about Rick So. He didn't really have any wiggle room to get any players in, but Jake Mamo, we understand he's going back to the NRL. Ryan Hinchcliffe's retiring. Those are 2 big earners.
Yeah.
Mamo on a marquee salary. So he's going to have some money to bring some players in as well.
I think Uati will replace Mamo.
Well, yeah. But
Matongi's already here, and that's a big. He is literally, metaphorically, a big signing. But he's already here. He knows the systems. That makes him twice as valuable next year.
They've got some decent quality in this field, and they say he's just releasing that quality.
But it's the key. I think you're right.
It.
I think the fact that we've seen people like Ollie Russell and Darnell McIntosh is a completely different player.
And the winger,
at the end of this,
the winger as well.
Mark McIntosh. At the end of this season,
the hooker as well.
Adam O'Brien.
The other one, Lehman. How good is he? Again, he's allowed to play with that. Adam O'Brien. Adam O'Brien's like a Lawes, isn't he? You know what I mean? Just nitty and gritty, and get 5 yards on the trial. And
but
do that.
It is worth noting, since he came into the team, that Huddersfield have really kicked on.
Absolutely.
No,
It'd be interesting where Tom Holmes is going to play next year.
That's another good sign.
And listen, mate, it's competition for places. That's what it's all about. Keep everybody springing the step and. Competition.
Is he going to play hooker, part of the Hinchcliffe role?
He's going to play Tom Holmes. Don't worry about that. That kid can play.
Yeah. You can have too much competition for players, though, can't you? Because that's probably what.
Well, there might be people moving on. We don't know, do we? We don't know.
Peters, that's what the orange thing is in the middle of the pitch.
It's a scrum machine.
Scrum machine.
Yeah.
Scrum machine. That's what it is.
Look, you put the ball in there, and the ball
could come out anywhere. In fact, you're supposed to have it
that way. Because you can't have it going.
There you go.
That's come back out of the middle. You've got to put it back in again.
I think he's offside.
Are you supposed to put it in that hole there in the second row?
You love a scrum move.
Don't push.
Hold.
You're not allowed. Don't push.
If it comes out the same way, is it subject to the ref? Does he make him put it back in again?
You can't push.
I did enjoy. Was it the Saints players wanting to kick 2 from differential penalty on Saturday? Was it Salford? I can't remember.
Are they too young to know what a differential penalty is?
I must say as well, fellas, after this weekend, not just watching the Super League, watching NRL with the scrums. In its time, we've got to get rid of the scrums. They are an absolute disgrace. They are. They're just slowing the game up. Let's have a play the ball and that's it for now. There's no purpose for them whatsoever. They are an absolute shambles.
Well, they keep the big men out of the faces of the creative players for a play. Mind you, we're playing props at standoff now.
Fill the door. Yeah, they put the front rows and second rows at standoff. So how do they do that? It makes me laugh. I think about the great legend who he had at Leeds Rugby League Club in John Holmes-Holmesy. In his grave must be thinking, what the hell is going on here? Front rowers taking drives at second rows at scrums. It's absolutely laughable. It's all about creativity.
Rugby League Tweets has sent us a great picture, which I have got this magazine, or unless we sent it out as a prize, I can't remember. Schoey in the Leeds Club shop with a teddy bear. He's got the same tash today as well, hasn't he? Oh, that's shocking.
You got a bit retro.
I'm doing it's more timber.
Yeah.
More timber.
But it's not grown since last week.
I've had it trimmed today. I've had an haircut. So
You've had it trimmed.
I've had it styled.
Doesn't that defeat the
Style? Hold on. Style?
Yeah. I've had it styled.
Style?
There's more on your eyebrow.
It's like my hairdresser says to me when I say to him, people keep saying to me I'm going a bit thin on top, a bit bald. And when he's doing it, says, no, Mr. Schofield, it's a double crown. So I'm not going bald. It's called a double crown. Yes, interesting.
So I'll tell you what, the way Luke Gale's Barnett's growing, I'm getting tempted. I'm getting tempted.
They've also sent us a picture of the Hall of Fame Challenge match, Great Britain versus the rest of the world at Headingley, Leeds, 29th of October 1988. Will we see one of these games again? No, we won't. Can't even get Great Britain playing. Schoey alongside
we didn't even
David
know
Stevenson.
till last week that there was going to be 3 more inductions in the Hall of Fame.
This is the Great Britain team of 1988 to take on the world. Lachlan, Plange, Schofield, Stevenson, Offier, Edwards, Gregory, Ward, Beardmore, Waddle, Gregory, Platts, Hanley, Shulman, Powell, and the rest of the world side, which is pretty much just Australia. Shearer, Papua New Guineans. Krawanti, Nwampo, I shouldn't have started this. O'Connor, Ratier, Ella, Langer, Sorensen, Valero, Shelford, Graham, Cleal, Miller, with Lyons and Bacco on the bench.
It's almost like
John Holdsworth.
Almost like an Exiles game, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we won that game 28-26, I think.
It was close.
Yeah, I think we did, yeah. Right, can I give you my dream team? Get a bit of a debate going? Can I?
There'll be no debate.
I'm going early again with the dream team.
Go on, then.
When is it the dream team? When is it getting out? When
have we got to
announce
vote?
it?
You've got till today, I think.
Is it right then? Right then, the Schoey's dream
This
team.
is our dream team.
This dream team, and I tell you
Oh,
what, it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. Fullback.
We'll be the judge.
Fullback, Sam Tompkins, winger.
Hold on,
Wigan.
just nice and slow. Our social media man has got to try and work this out.
Who isn't here?
Right,
Yeah, he's sat over at road in that shop.
Sam Tompkins is the winger.
He's a fullback.
Fullback, sorry, from Wigan, yeah. Fullback from Wigan, yeah. The two wingers, Makinson, St Helens, Charnley, Warrington. Centres, Percival, Saints, Tupu, Wakefield, who's also my choice as Man of Steel. The halfbacks, interesting one, this one, isn't it? Interesting one.
We'll pass a bit of paper afterwards.
The halfbacks is simple. It's the Catalan pairing, Lange and Drinkwater. I know before you start, Richardson, you've been happy all year. Like Barber for the last 8 weeks, they've been rubbish.
Yeah, but it's weeks 1 to 23 that this is judged.
Hold on, listen, this is my team, okay? This is my, and this team will be your dream team, what you select, don't worry about that. The front row, it's Taylor, Hull, you've got somebody in Hull, it's Taylor, I apologise, Scott Taylor, I think he's had an outstanding season. Roby at hooker and Millington, well, Mr Millington, isn't he just Mr Versatile, certainly for Cass in the forwards. And in the back row, I'll tell you what, this is some back row. Thompson, Saints, boy oh boy, how good is he? Bateman, well, he's just a freak, isn't he? He's got to be the freakiest rugby player that's
he'll
been
be
around
Man of Steel, I think.
He's mine.
For the last 20 years. And also as well, at loose forward. And he took the pathetic dive. How good has he been all season? He's been the warrior in Greg Bird. So that's the Legends dream team. And one thing for sure, that'll beat any of your teams, what you will select. Don't worry about that. That's the dream team.
All right, we'll have a look at that. Let us have yours at Forty20 live on Twitter.
I've
you can get in
submitted
touch
mine
via the Facebook page. We'll give us yours then.
All right.
Because you'll have 3 in each position, aren't you? That's
But give us your first choice.
Bearing in mind that the stipulation is it's form over rounds 1 to 23.
Yeah, I picked over rounds 120.
So the fullback has to be Ben Barber. Has to be.
No, I'm emailing it. There you go.
That's a bit
That's how you send an email.
Go on then, Phil. Just pick your team. Don't be explaining because we'll debate it, but go on.
Wingers, Makinson and Liam Marshall. Centres, I agree with you, Tupou and Percival. I think they've been outstanding. Jake Connor perhaps would have been an outside bet, but sadly injury and versatility counted him out. Halfbacks, Lomax and Richardson. Up front, I've got Thompson at prop, Roby and Casti. Second rowers, Bateman and Tyre, and loose forward, Adam Milner. And I reckon that team will beat yours.
Not.
Vision, creativity and power.
Yeah.
What about
what do you think mine's got? Mine's got all them 3 and more. What's your team? Your dream team?
I would go with Tompkins over Barber. I just think the whole uncertainty of the last 2 months has gone against him, I think. And I think perception is the perception is he's let people down, even though he probably hasn't done. But that's what people will think.
As I said at the weekend, Matt, the St Helens players looked a lot happier when he wasn't in that side on Saturday.
Well,
but I think up to the end of the regular season, he is the guy that was the top player in Super League.
I agree with Tommy Makinson. I think I was so delighted he got picked for England, so he has to be in. This is going to be a weird one because it's going against what we've just said about it being rounds 1 to 23. Tom Johnston, he missed a lot of games early in the season, and he's still. I know he's got a couple of tries in the eights. He's still got over 20 tries. And
what about Charlie? How good has Charlie been?
Yeah, he has.
Some games at the start of the season as well.
Yeah, he did. Look, again, I think we look at certain positions. You could argue. I can give you a list of 6 and you go.
I think it's
but it's your side. It's your side.
So I go that. The centres, I don't think you can look past. Yeah. Sadly, I think the only. And again, it's probably looking late on, but Bryson Goodwin seems to be hitting his straps now. Yeah. But did he do that at the start of the season? So again, Bill Tupou and Percival will be in. I think halfback's a really, really tough one. I genuinely, you look at, there's been players injured, there's been players out of form. Danny Richardson, did he generate enough points early in the season that he has to be in? But then I aren't using that for Barber, so do I use it for him or not? I don't know. I think he's been proved to be. I don't know. He's struggling a bit. I think at the minute, and he needs someone at the side of him to help him out. And
I think it's interesting that the most difficult position, because there isn't enough choice, is halfbacks, which is the issue with the sport.
You know what? I would give Truman a go. I would vote for Truman because he has done outstandingly well in difficult circumstances.
Is that 6 or 7?
Or 1.
Yeah.
She started at fullback, didn't he?
You can't pick him. He's not played long enough, Matt, for the halfback.
He's had a lot of games.
He's played all season, hasn't he? He's only missed 1 or 2.
Yeah. He would have fullback for 4 games, wasn't he?
He started at fullback.
But I would have him. I would have him in.
Who would you have?
So you go Richardson and Truman.
Yeah, because you went Lange and
I've got Lange and
Drinkwater.
Which I think again is fair when you look at the cup, but this isn't on cup form.
Yeah.
Well, Drinkwater's been outstanding since he's come to Catalans.
So
he's been one of the major players around the bench.
Some people are accusing Schoey of being on the Canterbury Bulldogs Mad Monday with these selections.
No, he's got his clothes on. He's all right. Makes a change. He's got them on.
Hold on, they're trying to tell me that's not a very good side. What I've selected.
Well,
you're anti-Warrington and anti-Wakefield. Apparently, we are as a group.
I'm anti-Warrington.
They pick all of Warrington's players.
Ratchford has a case for being one of the 3.
He was one of our 3. Yeah, he was one of the 3.
Well, who's your forwards?
Luke Thompson, absolute shit. He has been, for me, the best prop forward all season.
When we're talking about candidates for Man of Steel, he is not getting a mention. He should
be. He came on the other night. He won a penalty in his second. He bars 15 yards, won a penalty, turned people's thought momentum. It doesn't exist. Blah blah blah. He has been the best prop forward by a mile.
Yeah.
Casty, that's an email coming back. It's an incoming email. That Casty would be in there.
Fafita deserves a shout.
Fafita,
but he didn't quite make my team.
Ben Westwood, I would say, as
picking his starting line. We're not going through every Tom, Dick and Harry. You're picking his starting line.
It's got to be Roby. As good as McShane is,
and as good as McAlorum has been.
If you were picking a team for your life, you'd probably have Roby and McShane on the bench. That's the way I'd look at it at the minute. Back rowers, Bateman is a shoe-in. If Bateman is not in the 3 grand final, the Man of Steel, it's a disgrace. Absolute shoe-in. The other one, open.
I'll tell you, I had as my 3rd choice, because you've got to pick 5, 3 and 1. Jack Hughes.
Yes, I would have gone with him.
So if you're talking about a Warrington player again who's gone under the radar but consistently performed really well,
and as he's played every game of the season,
he's in my
So I'll go. I'll put him in Hughes and loose forward Milner. I think we have a lack of loose forwards.
Well, actually, we have 3. Normally we have 1. It's the Sean O'Loughlin loose forward.
Go on, then.
LMS is the other one. I think he's had a really good season.
He's had a good season, but not an outstanding season.
And he wears number 13, so you can put him in your dream.
Phil, you picked him because he's your mate.
Yeah,
I like him.
He has.
He's from London, he's your mate. That's why you picked him. And he doesn't call him in the 40-20.
So that's it.
Out this week.
Any more for any more?
Leeds from Sandy. When is the stadium work going to be finished? It's a real shame it's not ready for the Toronto game, as the crowd would have been massive.
The South Stand will be formally opened on Boxing Day, when presumably Wakefield must be coming.
Well, presumably.
For the Weatherby Whaler Challenge, you would think.
Fish and chips. An excuse to sell a new kit. Wonderful. See, Hull didn't miss a chance to sell another kit this week, did they? Regardless of the reasoning. Get another kit out there.
Hey, you don't be having a pop at my club.
Well, Hull have overtaken Leeds this year. Hull have overtaken
Don't be having a pop at my black and whites.
So listen, Hull have got a home kit, an away kit, the Magic Weekend special kit, a kit for the RAF, because they're big in Hull.
Kit for Australia.
Kit for Australia, that's 5 kits.
Yeah. The
Kit
funniest
for
thing, it was Armed Forces Day, wasn't it, at Hull on Friday?
Armed Forces Day.
And they had the guy jumping off the roof with a, abseiling down. And they parked like, I don't know if it was a Spitfire or something outside.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing was, this lad at the end, he was like 25, typical scally. He'd obviously climbed in it and he was just sat there. And this copper come past and went, "Look, mate, I've just parked here, I'll move it in a minute." It was like, oh no, you get out, mate, get out. It was quite funny.
I was going to ask one question. You mentioned it was Armed Forces round. Every club has an Armed Forces round, but a different round.
Yeah.
Why can't we have
As a sport.
an Armed Forces round and a Heritage round and a Women in League round?
You'll never beat that one there
Charity
at
round.
Warrington when they let that cannon off. That was unbelievable.
And Sky jumped
The
out
Warrington players were like stood right by the cannon. They going, "You're gonna have to move. You're gonna have to move." And they moved. And they fired it, and they still went, "Gee, whoa!" It was worse than the old bell. Whoa! So another bloke's just fallen off his bike. There's absolutely no regard for our listeners.
Here's Toby who said we should have Mike Cooper in the team as well.
Yeah, look, prop forward is like the wing for me. If you picked any one of 6 or 7, you wouldn't be thinking that's a poor team because he's in
But
it.
he does say, should we invest? This is the sport investing in something that isn't overpaid Australians or something. No, it's media training for players. Both of them saying it's always a tough place to go. They and their game plan and stuck to it. Fair play. Same in every interview.
And every sport.
Yes. You get some new ones,
Fair enough.
Let's give them training in charisma and personality.
But
Showcase their personality.
Don't
What a unique
coaches
idea
say
that
the
would be.
same thing?
They do.
No, in the preview to a game, whatever the team they're playing, we've got respect for them, and they'll bring their best game. We're prepared for them to be their best, and afterwards,
One thing we missed when talking about Wakefield and Wigan earlier, which I don't think we spoke for too long of. This is Mel who's been on. Wakefield played well against the ref because Ben Thaler, who was Wakefield fans' favourite referee 2 weeks ago, has now gone below James Child.
Really?
Because Wakefield lost by 15 points at Wigan.
Yeah, Wigan ground out a win, didn't they?
Yeah.
They just, especially on the back of a big win the week before.
Yeah.
How hard is it when you've played in a massive game the week before? Mentally, I know mentally, how hard is it? Because it's not the same playing against Wakefield for them. It's not a derby or anything for them, is it?
It's
and the crowd.
Yeah,
was
it's not
was
really
quiet and low.
Yeah, it's not really the mental. It's just like it's the emotion. You know the emotion.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The emotion and the build-up. Say right, yeah, it's not the derby, but still, you've just got to be as professional as what you can be. And again, it's just that level of consistency from there. But and the way the Wigan started out, what the score, what the first 80 seconds or something from where you thought, hey, aye, they're going to carry that in performance, but. Fair play to Wakefield, they themselves, they thought, well, we know we've got a decent pack, so we're going to move the ball around a bit. They competed pretty well.
If they could
I think
get...
Chris Chester was upset about their discipline, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I know some of the Wakefield fans wanted to blame the referee, but
Just-
Wakefield were poor in.
Yeah, just a word for Dan Sargentson, tremendous
Fantastic,
effort
yeah.
playing,
Sensational,
and the team were when at the end of the minute silent. I thought that was I thought that was really good. They're clearly all with him. But on the other side of it, Schoey, I want to ask you about Wakefield. Are they a top quality half back away from being a top 4 contender? They're going to be in the top 6. It looks like again.
Second year running.
So they're now consolidating their place in the table. But to make that next step, and the next step is getting in the 4. Do they need to maybe go and invest in a top quality half back?
You ever do, because we've seen Wakefield quite a few times this year, haven't we? I think I've said it before. They're too predictable, aren't they? There's not too much variation, and the reason why I say they're too predictable is because they both want the ball at the same time. So rather than one taking charge for around about 5, 7, 10 minutes, they're both doing the same thing. So it becomes too predictable. So they both play at the same side of the field, which I don't mind whatsoever. But there's not enough variation from them. Like he has a great relationship, doesn't he, Jacob Miller, with Matty Asher, but it's always the same. It's too predictable. So if they can vary it a little bit, because we don't know if Hampshire's going to be at number 7 next year.
So where would you play Ryan Hampshire? Because if they're a half back away from being,
Will he be there?
presumably, Miller's on a long-term deal. He's set.
Well, he's on a long deal. Yeah.
Who would complement him?
Well, they've been linked with Ben Reynolds, but I'm wondering.
He's not
They've
good.
been linked with Josh Drinkwater.
That's exactly where I'm going,
yeah,
because you go back to Matty Smith was at the Cup final, his son had a Catalan t-shirt. You've got to imagine there's got to be something in that. Well, does that then free up Drinkwater? And is he, I've been rude, a better version of Liam Finn? As in, you'll kick him around the field.
But you see what you're getting there. You're getting the right balance of the halfback, where he brings the calmness to Drinkwater, the kicking game from there, but he's still got an organisation. What that leaves Miller to do then is vary his game a little bit more, which we worked on it in pre-season from that point of view, but he needs to change what he does a little bit because he's too predictable. If he does that, he gets a halfback who likes to take control. Miller could go missing for 10 minutes, just let Drinkwater take over, certainly from a point of view with a kicking game from there, and also just bringing the forwards, playing around with the forwards. That could be an ideal combination.
Do they need to make a decision on who's going to play at fullback as well, long term? Grix?
Yeah. It has to be Max Jowett. I don't think Grix will be.
Well, they've got free choice, haven't they? Grix, Hampshire or Jowett, haven't they? Because for me, Hampshire's not
our resident
halfback what they require.
Resident Wakefield fan.
Yeah,
Max Jowett.
I've been a big Max Jowett fan for years, and I wouldn't have signed Scott Grix in the first place. So
I think he's done a good job for him, but I think it's time now. And again,
he's been good. But how
is he off contract this year, or is he re-signed?
There were a lot of rumours saying he would go to Halifax, but that was social media rumours. So
my issue is not with Scott Grix as a player; it's the fact that with him coming in, it stopped the development of Max Jowett, who could be a very good player.
When it's an interesting one, and it's nice to be worrying about quality rather than can we get 17 players and avoid relegation.
Can they sign a top class halfback if they're not spending the salary cap?
Well,
I only pose that question because
these are things
we know that they're incredibly prudent, and I think we're all admiring of the way they've gone about their business. But do they have to now say we need to find some extra money to spend the cap to get a top class halfback?
So I'll tell you what then, when we're talking about halfbacks, if Drinkwater's going to leave Catalan, does that mean Tompkins is going to play at 7 at Catalans? Is he going to move into the halfbacks? You can't drop Gijo, can you, at fullback?
I would have thought not really, personally.
That's an interesting one. Like if Drinkwater does leave, Tompkins is going to play in the half.
Do you think Samasoni Langi's going to be at Catalan next year?
I'd say so, yeah.
Is he a forward?
No, he's a
Gijo play 6?
He's a quality standoff.
He'll play at centre. No, I think he'll play at centre.
Who, Gijo?
No, Langy.
I think Gijo will play 6 and Tompkins will play 1.
Do you?
No.
I'm trying to round up all these things people want to talk
Go on then,
about.
we'll get them. We've got plenty of time. You know.
Don says we should get Don Manfredi onto the after-match interview. He's always a good one. Always enjoy him. You never know what he's going to say. Unpredictable. It's what we like. Always good when Sky have to apologise.
Back to LMS.
Yeah. Dave says, Schoey, you're going to get in trouble with Liam Watt's dad for picking Taylor instead of his son. We'll be in the letters of the League Express on Monday.
I hope it is. I hope it is.
Just make up a name, Dave. They'll print anything. Apparently.
Hey, that's a bit harsh. Hey, come on.
What is Richard's assumed name?
Yeah.
That's the next question.
Never written a letter to the League Express. Never seen my name in there.
It's always emails.
Never seen his name in there.
Yes, you're right. You're right in there every week. It's called pulling no punches, Rich.
That's a different Richard. Simon tweeted earlier about the World Cup. What's happening to the World Cup this weekend? I've lost his message, but did Germany play Norway?
They do play this weekend.
This week,
with the winners will get through to the knockout stage. Likely to play probably Greece.
The European Championship's coming up.
European Championship.
It's a shame.
The dates and venues have now been announced.
It's a shame that I think it's Wales versus Ireland, Scotland.
He's
played at the same time as England.
Well, it's the afternoon. Yeah, it is the same time. Yeah.
Simons also says, good luck to the NRL Women's League starting this weekend with the Broncos, Dragons, Warriors and Roosters.
Brilliant. Did you see the highlights of the NRL Women's League?
No.
They've done it really differently. They've got a
very TV deal and everything.
Yeah. There's a very short competition with only 4 teams. They only get about 4 franchises, which means that all of the quality women players are concentrated. The first 2 games were played this week, both as curtain raised to the men's finals. Absolutely astonishing. Really, I mean, if the highlights are on there, just watch it.
You mean they're playing them curtain raised in proper grounds rather than sports grounds?
In front of there were 18,500 that watched Brisbane play. I think the Roosters they were playing. The women's.
But joined up thinking, how could this work? People asked or wanted us to talk about Denver Isn't it a good thing that we know that it's not going to happen, the World Cup in 2025 now, rather than...
That's the wrong way of looking at it.
right.
Why did we licence somebody without getting the financial guarantees first?
Well, at least he didn't have any of the players' wives on his knee during the game. So that's one good thing.
But what? So, I mean, it is disappointing, isn't it? Because we wanted it to be a success.
Well, I don't think at the moment we've said there isn't going to be a World Cup in America and Canada.
But
What we're
raises
probably
worries.
saying is it won't be more Sports International that run it. Now, whether anybody else is going to come forward to fill that void, unlikely. You don't know if the owners of Toronto might want a World Cup at some point to bolster the work they're doing, and it could be there are other investors that might want to take it on. But at this moment in time, what was a 3-year deal for a Denver test in June has gone. The final payment to the New Zealand Rugby League and the RFL wasn't made on time by More Sports International. That has left a huge hole in the finances of two organisations that cannot afford it. But instead of England now playing New Zealand for the next 2 years in Denver, it's already been announced that New Zealand will play Tonga in Auckland in that June space. That's fantastic. I mean, that's a repeat of the World Cup game that was astonishing, that Tonga won in front of a full stadium of colour and noise, and we've needed that revenge game, and that'll really help New Zealand Rugby League. Where does that leave A, International Rugby League in America, and B, who do England play next June now?
Maybe Ireland.
Well,
And by the way, legend, England, they're going to be playing in Newcastle.
Yeah, the Rugby Union side.
Rugby Union.
Well, I said to the Iraqi 2 years ago at Magic Dinner, hey, listen, you've got to bring international football under lights for be a Friday night or a Saturday night. It will absolutely get packed out. But hey, listen, who am I? By the way, my old mucker Martin Clausen, he sent me a message. Schoey Lange at halfback. Won try in 18 games. Martin, you know he's been a quality player. Creativity, he's been brilliant. I tell you what, mate. Tweet your dream team in Mr. Clausen. You know, at the end of the day, I tell you what, mate, you want to start running a little bit quicker, you know, when you're bringing that tail or whatever, because time wasting is no good, mate. So Mr. Clausen's been on, giving me a bit of ripping into me a little bit. Come on, Clogger,
I think
give me
he's
your
right.
dream team.
I think he's right.
Yeah. Sorry?
I think you're talking baloney.
Lange is the antithesis of everything you say about what a halfback should be. He's an auxiliary forward. He hasn't got the creativity.
Yeah, I've got the... Oh, please. I tell you what, Phil, get yourself to a well-known opticians. Do me a favour.
Well, not the one you went to.
Do me a favour. What did he do at St Helens at semi-final? Ripped him apart.
Rounds 1 to 23. Nothing to do with the cup.
All right. Next you'll be saying Richie Myers played better than him. Oh, rubbish. So move on. Sorry?
Also had a good season.
Oh, no, by the way, when the season started, you said, Myler will be contender for the Man of Steel, and he said 20 tries. He scored 5.
10.
You said 20?
No, he scored 9, I think, this season.
9?
We might get 11 tries in the next 3 weeks. You never know.
They needed him yesterday.
In the news today, with our By the Balls colleague Ross Eppenstall, London scholars might be upping stakes and going to Philadelphia.
Which he could have read in 4020 magazine.
The Philadelphia
Well, you still
Jesus.
can. We'll do a bit on that. Yeah.
No, a couple of
All
months
right,
ago.
okay. All right, fair dues.
The Philadelphia Cheeses, as they're going to be known. Looking forward to seeing them. We'll get some T-shirts made. Get to our imaginative producer. Get Philadelphia cheesesteaks. Get those made into T-shirts before they get set up. We'll undercut Ascot. We'll be all right.
What do we make of that, though?
Where's New York?
I think that...
How can someone own 2 clubs at the same time?
I think David Argyle wants London to be strong, and one of the reasons I thought the Wolfpack took one of their early season games to London this year was to give a profile in London. I wouldn't be 100% certain at the moment that the intention is necessarily to move the scholars somewhere else. I think they want to help establish something in London. The other interesting thing, again going back to this vote on Friday, which it's hard to talk about because we need to react to what's decided rather than spend too much time going through.
We could do like everyone else has done and make our own formula.
But one of the
sure.
other things I don't understand about Friday is why do Toronto and Toulouse not have a vote? You're either in the competition and part of it,
or you're not.
Or you're not.
Yeah.
So David Argyle buying a controlling interest in London scholars at least gives him a vote.
But
that would be another reason why he'll get one.
And this was brought up by many people last week, and I think you followed up with a great question on social media this week, Mark.
Who, Schoey? Oh,
Schoey's been too busy emailing.
We mentioned last week about
Gmailing. Gmailing.
certainly just Grange, aren't they? We spoke last week about schools rugby league could have
Just
the
say
casting
no.
say, yeah. Just say no to everything, especially in rugby league. If you're a rugby league player, just say no, or have a good defence.
Come on, make your point.
Yeah, we were talking about the schools rugby league. Aaron Bauer started this whole the players should have a say thing. I'm not sure necessarily.
Well, see, I'm looking at it
There
here.
you go.
Players to have a voice. I've asked a question.
Do we trust the players to have a voice?
Well,
Why do you trust Schoey to have a voice
I-
in the structure of rugby league as a
Why?
non-businessman?
Why
It's a bit
do the
harsh.
players need a voice in the structure? Surely, if you ask the players, they'd say they play too many games. I'm sure that'd be what will come out.
Absolutely.
But I asked the question, I didn't get a reply. How many of players are actually in the union?
Well, that's what the first.
Because
thing
if you say, all right, then
you've
what
got to be
we'll do-
representative.
What we'll do is, right, we'll put it to our members. How many of them are going to get a vote? How many of them are in it? We don't know, do we?
Vote.
You know, until I think they're all en masse. And I think whether you want it or not, I think you're all in it together, or you can't complain about it. Is you sign up and you go from there.
Do you know what would be interesting on Friday? If the casting vote is by Barlow.
Well, it's my
And
understanding.
the amateur
It's my
game
understanding-
gets to decide on the structure of the professionals.
It's my understanding that the community game are firmly behind the Super League proposals.
7 very different people.
They are confident that But I mean, we've had this Brexit and no Brexit. We're confident. Labour confident, and then
Donald Trump can't
you know
possibly.
the exit polls suggest. But look, the thing I don't understand, right? And we're reading a lot of obviously Andrew Chalmers, Craig Hall, and Mark Sawyer at Dewsbury. They all, I think, have approached Robert Elson. They want to have a meeting before the meeting. I'm not quite sure what the lower league clubs want. In fact, and that might be me being naive.
They don't want to lose the money, Mark. Simple as that.
Yeah, but they're not. They've guaranteed the money's guaranteed anyway for the next 3 years.
There's another issue about this. This seems to be money from the next TV deal.
Yeah.
There is no next TV
No.
deal. How do you know
And I've
what
seen-
deal you're going to get?
again-
They want to preserve a percentage of something that doesn't exist.
But I've seen figures quoted in the next one. I'm thinking, well, unless you know you're getting that, and if
Absolutely.
you know you're getting that, then you should come out on the thing and say, right, we're going to sign a new deal, and this is where we're all going
But
with it.
shouldn't the whole sport be working together to get a new television deal?
But yeah, I agree.
Isn't that?
And it seems like League One and the Championship are going to get their own deal, and we've seen,
But it won't be
our
much.
league. No, but we've seen our league starting to stream things. So clearly, there is a little bit of forward thinking. We're quick to criticise the RFL for not doing it, and they're starting to do that. But then you come back to the farcical situation that we're voting in the midst of a season.
Not in the midst.
Well, the
Right
example,
at the
the
very
example,
end.
the example I was given is Swinton.
Yep.
If they vote for if the new deal goes in and it's the championship's going to change,
Absolutely.
then they're going to be safe and they'll
Yeah.
get double what they get if they're in League One. So what is it? No one is going to vote at Swinton for that to be anything other than we're all right,
Absolutely.
and that's.
It's
We've said this
expediency
before.
of the
If you
worst
do it at the
kind.
start of the season, when everyone knows where they're at and they all know it's a level playing field, this is where we're coming from, then I think you're going to get a more honest vote. And I'm not saying they're going to look after themselves. A lot of clubs are going to do that. I'm sure if you said to Widnes, it looks like they're going to get up. Well, we'll keep you up if this is a new system. They're going to vote for the new system, whatever it is.
And I know Gary Hetherington gets criticised in a lot of quarters. He wants to preserve a system that at the moment his team could get relegated from. So but the structure is an irrelevance. This is about who controls the finances of the sport from here on in, and the distribution of the money from any deals that might be coming, and the Championship and League One clubs, irrespective of where they sit at the moment, according to those that are vehemently opposed to it, are saying if you agree to this, what you'll be safe for is possibly the next 3 years, but that's it. So don't sign it. So would Swinton be so keen to preserve their status at the moment, but in 3 years' time have absolutely no income coming
But
in?
with the best will in the world, the Super League clubs don't know what income they're going to have in 3 years.
Exactly. But
You
they
know,
can
they
go
don't.
out and negotiate just for Super League and keep... At the moment, they're giving away 25%.
Yeah.
12.5 to the RFL, 12.5 that the RFL then pass on to
Yeah.
the champion. So they would keep
More of that.
the bulk of that.
Yeah.
And that is the issue, not about whether we have loop fixtures. I can't find anybody that is in favour of a loop fixture. Other than the chairman that want a certain amount of games, players don't want it, fans don't want it. Why are we going back to a model that's proven not
Does there
to
need
work?
to be, and I've said this before, I think there are two major issues at the heart of this, right? I think we need to ascertain who wants to be full-time and who wants to stay part-time.
Absolutely.
And that don't mean as of next week. That, maybe we need to set a date and say, right, as of the new deal, because they're going to have to go and sell the sport. They need to know what the sport's going to look like and say, right, this is the plan. We're going to have 16, 20, however many teams it is. These are going to be full-time. These are part-time. This is how we're proposing it. And then you're giving clubs like Bradford, who I'm sure would want to be a part of Super League, and I think, for the record, they will be in the next couple of years anyway. I think they will be looking. You look at York; they're going to be challenging.
Well, I think York need to be at the upper echelon of the Championship. That's their aim at the moment.
So,
I think there's an investor in Newcastle who, with the players that he's signing, is Coventry, who we're big fans of, need to know what the plan is. There's something else I can't understand at the moment. On the one hand, we're talking about a sport that doesn't know in what direction it's going. It's going back to a structure that doesn't really suit anybody. But at the same time, we hear Red Star Belgrade want to come in. Dublin have got somebody who wants to come in 2020. There's potentially Philadelphia, Boston, New York in the Americas.
But that's why do we need to
How
open
on
it up?
earth do we get those people in if we're effectively making a close shot?
Yeah. But I don't think you do make it a close. I think you say these are the numbers, and you are allowed. It's like I can always use the NFL, but it is a very similar to. I think what we need to be looking at is you can apply to join, but you've got to meet. You've got to jump through a lot of hoops to get there. But I also think the clubs themselves need to realise that having extra home games, and I've said this before, more fixtures with less crowd. They like that because there's more people coming and buying a beer and whatever else. But the onus is on the clubs to get bigger crowds, isn't it? Don't be moaning that they bring 100 fans and they've only brought 20 and they've brought 2.
The reason you get more fans is because you have a competition that has a closer and higher standard.
Yeah.
One of the things the Eights has bought is a lower standard. Unfortunately.
Do we need, and again, thinking long term, we know the RFL generate money, or part of their remit is the international game. But you never get told how much we get from an international game. If you say the RFL, you're right, you can keep all the money from the England games,
which they do at the moment.
Yeah, but
and
gate receipt, we never get told what the gate receipts are, and this needs to be more transparent. And this goes back to you. Go to Newcastle, sell it out 50,000, average price 20 quid. That's £1 million. And if there's 4 games a year and you're getting 4 million quid from that, then that brings money into the sport. And I think there's so many questions. I think we're making a short-term decision.
You've got to do that together. The RFL and Super League have, because they control different parts of the game.
Exactly.
So a decision you make at one level will have an impact on the other.
Yeah.
How are we going to work together? If we're honest, if Castleford played Warrington another 10 times in Super League, it's not going to bring a lot more finance and fans to the game. No. But England having set fixtures announced 2, 3, 4 years in advance just might.
But is this? And I've said this before. That. But then do we go?
If you're fractured,
do we go to the NRL and say we're going to follow your thing?
Why wouldn't you?
But what we want is 4 breaks or 3 breaks in the year, where players, all of them will be made available, and then the RFL can say, right, we know we're going to generate another 2-3 million quid, and that money could go to the lower club. I just think there's a lot more questions have been answered.
I think the most important factor is the RFL on Friday have got to grow some crystals.
I think they've abdicated responsibility.
They've got to grow some crystals on Friday and say, right, listen, this is what's going to happen. We need some leadership on Friday.
But that's why the 4 or 5 Super League chairmen want to take that decision making from them, and that's actually what this is about. The other thing that I find almost a dereliction of duty is the Championship and League One representatives are saying they have wanted a meeting. And meetings. We're not a big enough sport to not have meetings.
Yeah.
The RFL should have got the parties around the table.
Absolutely.
And if that's under the chairmanship of Brian Barwick or the chief executive, Ralph Rimmer, somebody should have said, let's not get to a situation where an EGM has had to be called 2 weeks away from the regular season, where some teams who've already started planning with signing players and releasing coaches, it all might change. What if Whitehaven get into the playoffs because there's an extra place now
Look, there's 3 teams on 30
but what
points.
if they get in and they do something, at the moment that doesn't look like, but they win and get promotion up to League One, and Carl Foster's already left?
Yeah. You can't do it. It's bizarre, isn't it?
But if
really?
you can't get people round the table, what does that say about all of the sections of the sport?
So Friday in this meeting, this EGM, is this when it's going to be decided what's happening?
Well, unless
it's D-Day on Friday, what everything's going to be happening.
Apparently it's decided by a majority of 1, although there is a stipulation about 4 of each part of the game have got to vote with the other one. But provided there is a majority and the requisite number of either Championship and League One clubs vote with Super League or Super League clubs vote with there will be a decision on Friday. If there isn't a decision, if it's a stalemate, then people should walk away from their positions, unquestionably.
Nigel thinks the timing of the meeting stinks, which it does. Ian says, Ian is obviously very pessimistic. He says, Super League are so dim, they'll take short-term cash for TV rights and probably give away the North American rights pennies today, and they'll complain that the future deals won't work for them.
Yeah, can I jump in on that? The one worry I've got, right, about the future of Super League is that the people who are doing all the shouting, Lenigan at Wigan, Adam Pearson at Hull, are 2 chairmen to me that seem desperate for money now. Well, Ian Lenigan wouldn't need as much money if he didn't have 2 marquee players.
Even St Helens, who have played wonderful rugby this year, have led the table from almost start to finish, who are going to win the League Leaders' Shield because of the quality of rugby that they've played, can't fill their stadium at the moment. In a town that is a rugby league town, and
that's the structure's fault.
Changing it to 1 up, 1 down is not going to make that any better. In fact, it could make it worse because there'll be more games that don't mean anything.
If only when, I don't know, Robert Elston was on TV, people would ask him questions that he could answer. That would be interesting, rather than just pussyfoot around things. I don't know. Andy says we need a red and yellow marker pen to make it look like Toronto's pitch.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Which was brilliant.
Good idea.
Damien Irvine, he's asked this question: if Argyle just wants the licence, why buy the Scullers? Reports are both Oxford and Gloucester have licences to sell. Just buy one cheap. Should we buy the Gloucestershire Olds?
I thought that was becoming Bristol.
Well, Oxford, whatever they want.
I don't think Oxford and Gloucestershire will be at this meeting on Friday. I don't think. But it's a good point.
It's turned into a long discussion about donuts on Twitter. But Sam also says, wouldn't trust Ralph or Brian to run a bath. We want to see Brian's big contact book anyway.
Here's a question.
It's got Des Lynam's number in it.
One of the most vociferous opponents of change are Bradford Bulls and Andrew Chalmers.
And if they actually...
One of the biggest beneficiaries of this potential change, bearing in mind they could be promoted on Friday.
Yeah, they'd be up. Yeah, they'd be promoted.
And they probably can't economically bear another season in League One. And if the worst happened and they were in the playoffs and for 80 minutes everybody had a bug beforehand and Workington beat them or whoever...
Yeah.
How is he going to vote? I'm intrigued to know.
Well, it'd be interesting you mentioned the players. Would the players vote differently to the owner?
Should the vote be made public?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I've got to be careful with the Bradford Bulls anyway because I don't want to get told off. I got told off last week.
I'm just
for
saying.
being negative.
I think it's a really, really interesting position that they're in.
We're too negative.
Well, to be honest, I'd credit them if he voted for...
Well, I'm going to say, does that give him credibility? Because I've just questioned people at the top of the tree voting, we need money, and he seems to be taking a longer term view.
He's consistent in his view.
He's either backing his players and his coach to get him where he needs to be now, with a view to when he gets there, he's got a little bit more on the table. So, look, you've...
When we talk about future TV deals...
Yes.
I can't remember when they come up for a renewal.
23 years.
Right. Who will be negotiating the deal for Super League?
Robert Elson.
That'll be his job.
So Phil, because I put this to somebody at the weekend. So let's just say the Super League will say, right, if you don't want to be part of us, and that's it, we're off. So is it possible for the Championship clubs and the League One clubs with the RFL to say, right then, okay then, we'll get his own TV deal, but we want to go back to winter rugby? Is that a possibility?
I look, you lads. I think whatever happens on Friday, this isn't over. This is going to go on.
But could that happen though, Phil?
No,
if the Championship clubs and League would say, right, okay, then we don't want to be part of this. You're our governing body. We want to go back to winter rugby. Could that be a possibility?
The problem that we'll have is that if Super League win the vote, that will mean some Championship and League One clubs have voted with them. So it won't be a united picture. I think if Super League lose the vote, they will consider breaking away.
Right.
Because they feel they cannot afford to lose this.
So then, the fallout then is quite easily the Championship clubs and League One clubs who vote for Super League and the League One clubs and Championship who didn't get their way what they want. There's going to be massive fallouts in there, then, isn't there?
Surely, if you were,
there's going to be absolute
it's
chaos.
A divided sport.
If you're a club in League One or the Championship who has a very healthy relationship with a dual reg partner,
well, I've said this last week. You know, you're going to hit. By the way, we voted against you last week. Cost you £1 million, but can we just borrow a few players next week?
Yeah.
To get us into the top four, to get us into the top, to get us into the top four, get some more money.
We say it every week that the issues in the sport are to do with participation, profile, and profit. This week again, Hemel Stags 13 players. It cannot go on.
No, it can't.
And it's not going to be solved by changing the structure. You're not addressing the real issues.
Well, we're not addressing one issue. It's quite simple. Participation. We're not addressing that, are we?
No.
It should
has to be a game-wide approach.
Correct.
It does. There are, like you said, I think you get everyone around the table. They always say there's no such thing as a bad idea. It might lead to something else.
Absolutely.
Someone in one of those League One clubs might have an idea that we need to look at, and vice versa.
How can you have relegation from a division that has loop fixtures? Because as soon as that fixture list is announced, some teams will be disadvantaged.
Yeah, well, I agree. We've said this.
But
before.
if you want one up, one down, you can't have loop fixtures.
Good win for Newcastle on Saturday.
Very good win.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a tough few weeks for Workington. Obviously playing Bradford and York, and then having to go to Newcastle. They got well beaten. They're still in the mix, but looking over their shoulder a little bit now.
That was our League One roundup.
Big win for Whitehaven as well over Hunslet, by the way.
Big win for Doncaster.
Yes, at Keighley.
And,
Were you there?
Move on.
You're going to see Jai Hitchcock's back on the field. Hat-trick for the Bulls.
Yes, it was
against
indeed.
the West Wales Mega Raiders.
Our prayers are with Ollie as well, who got shot by a sniper.
Yeah, what's he done?
He tore his hamstring. Well, I'd say it looked like he tore his hamstring.
You're supposed to be able to run faster to tear your hamstring, aren't you?
A bit harsh.
I
think he would
You're
have been
supposed to have a bit of pace.
He's a friend.
You're supposed to have a bit of pace to pull a muscle.
That's
why you'd never do one. That's why Kaplan never do one. It's all right, so
he'd have been a candidate, an outside candidate for a dream team. The way he's played
back row. Yeah,
people are always wanting to think there's some kind of illicit thing as to why we're not there and why we're here now. And now he's starting to fan those flames. The people on the forums, they keep
Hold on. I'm giving judgment on what I see. And I know I was pretty quick, so I pulled my hamstring quite a few times, to be honest with you, when I played. But
was this coming out of the back?
Why is Ollie Holmes pulling a hamstring? You've got
when
to
it
be
was round,
You've got
run it to the
that's
toilet.
A bit harsh. That's
run
a
it
bit
to the
harsh.
toilet.
You've got to be.
Where's my curry?
You've got to be. Well, I've checked the prices next door. If you fancy one next door, but obviously
we will go to the Agra, by the way. We're going.
No, we don't. The cheaper in Asda. They're going to get delivered next week. But as I said, you've got to be able to run quick to pull your hamstring.
If any curry places want to sponsor us.
We're working on that.
Keep down.
We're working on that.
Yeah, we need some more food challenges. Come on, any Chinese restaurant, Indian restaurants, any restaurant. Come on, we want the challenges.
Maureen says Ollie could beat you even in your heyday.
Oh, do me a favour. Do me a favour. I'd give him 30 yards over 100. Don't worry about that. In my heyday, just have a look at. Just go to YouTube, whatever you call it. Just have a look on there. Who's that, Maureen?
YouTube.
I bet she's an old fan, isn't she?
YouTube.
Where's he pulled YouTube from?
There's a YouTube.
Do you know what YouTube is?
No, what is it?
Got a clue.
What is it? Google, is it? What's Google and YouTube and... I know what an YouTube is.
You're a tube.
How much...
It's a bit harsh.
Had Gary Schofield and his Leeds team and of the late 80s, early 90s played in this era in Australia, how much would you have been fined by the NRL?
For his Mad Monday celebrations.
Yeah.
We didn't have one. We had a Monday club every Monday. No. We didn't need. We
disbanded. NRL disbanded Leeds.
We didn't have Mad Mondays. We had a Monday club every Monday. Oh. We had a Sunday night club and a Monday club.
Would you? I think the point is, we have had the social media we have now.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, you've been photographed in your dressing gown at Mazda. Morris.
Yeah, get it.
All the supermarkets out of it.
I got the League Express this morning in my dressing gown. Just to look
But my point is, what would we have seen? Don't go into detail.
No, don't go into
Why is no one
But
40-20 dressing gown?
I'm picking. We'd have seen some pretty horrendous things. You must have had some teammates who were bonkers when they'd had a few pots.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But
So what we're seeing now, it's no different to what went on before. But
No.
We
We were controlled and disciplined. It was just a
No
good
one
crack.
even believes it, do they?
Gets pictures of the Richmond.
It was just that's a bit harsh, Phil. Where's my lawyer? Where's my lawyer?
He's quit.
But no, we did have Mad Mondays because we had the Monday Club every Monday. The Smith's Arms or the Garden Gate, and then later on when Laurie Graham moved to the Town Hall Tavern. It used to be every Monday. Some lads from Cass would come and Wakefield, this sort of thing. It'd be 1 o'clock. It'd be brilliant. And in them days as well, it used to be closed at 3 o'clock, so we got a lock in. All that sort of thing. It was brilliant, sensational. There'd be about 15, 18, 20 of us just having a good slurp. And because I tell you, our philosophy was, it's quite simple. The more we drank, the harder we trained on a Tuesday to sweat it out, just to put a little bit more in back on a Tuesday night. Wednesday or Thursday night, we had a night out.
No
alcohol for the Friday or Saturday. And then we got ripped in on a Sunday, don't worry about that. It wasn't lack of quality with us, I'll tell you.
Just recreated the Canterbury Bulldogs Mad Monday there on the pitch.
Yeah, what was it that, man? They were being daft, weren't they? What was it? What
These
were they
young
doing?
lads being daft. Don't be daft.
Young lads on naked runs.
Maureen says she's black and amber through and through. Old enough to remember when you played.
Blue and amber.
Yeah.
Maureen, love. Don't take it on me, that hollow rubbish.
No,
Don't-
she's a
Cass amber.
Not she a cast film?
Yeah.
No, all right. Hey, hold on. I'll tell you. Hey, I'll tell you how quick I was, Maureen. Can you remember that interception try? Yorkshire Cup 88.
Stuart says Schoey is a Balmain
Talk about
legend.
living off one meal, one thing.
Hold on. I beg your pardon.
Balmain legend, small tight shorts and a bit of pace, says Stuart.
A bit of pace.
Still got those tight
Small
shorts.
tight shorts. There's a vision.
Phil
These 42s
I must admit these 32s are nippy.
These 32s are 42.
Phil's been on YouTube as well now. You've advised him to do so. Had a look at Martin Afaya's second try against Leeds in the Challenge Cup final. Watching Schoey giving up the chase, priceless.
Well, you're not daft, are you? I was told you're not daft.
No.
What's the
They
point?
should have put you on the
What was
station.
the point of me pretending for 50 yards that I could catch Martin? Not a chance. After 10 yards, well, I might as well just sit down and watch you go 50 yards on the edges. Huh? Yeah, I can remember I gave Martin an interception at Leeds. We played Widnes, and I feel this speculator. Anyways, we were around about 10 yards away from their line. I feel the speculator, he caught it. And I thought, well, I might make some sort of effort. He's heading it, and he's going down south stand, and I'm coming across, and literally I thought, well, I'll just go across diagonal. He just went that way. I went to the south stand, sat on the wall, and just watched him go on the edges. What more can I do?
Exactly. We're going to be doing our predictions separately this week, aren't we? So that'll be available on the 4020 Twitter feed and, of course, on the Facebook. Keep your eye out for that. Can I ask you all, please subscribe, like, rate the podcast. Don't make any comments about the sound. We're a work in progress. Like Widnes, we're a work in progress. Not all quite going to plan sometimes.
I don't think we beat commentary though.
Hold on,
hold on. Anyway, so please, iTunes and other podcast providers, get on there, like, subscribe, download it. It'll be available tonight. Get stuck into that, share it with your friends. The more people that listen, the better for us.
And if you are listening in Panama or whatever, send us a picture of you listening it wherever you're listening in the world.
And
they give us stats and everything.
There will be other content as well. I think noticed last week that Professor Tony Collins came in to talk to us briefly about his new book. There's some other people that we're working with that have promised us some video.
Very good.
Which you'll be able to see the first on this station. So keep tuned in.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we want, isn't it? Spread the words.
It is.
Here every week.
All contributions welcome.
Yeah. If you want to get in touch, do so at 4020 live on Twitter. Via the Facebook page. Any more for any more? It's
if you want to come and play us at Subuto as well.
Yeah.
Let Phil know. If you've got a team as well. I know there are people on eBay who sell.
Hold on.
There's Jackson Hastings here. Hold on. There. Live reenactment.
This is how we're going to recreate things. So we haven't got the rights to show things.
Hold on. This is the worst Leeds team I've ever played with. We've got 14 on. Carlo, See you, Ollie.
I think we need the doctor.
These are valuable things.
Jeez.
Off for an HIA.
He's
Ollie,
gone for a head
you're-
injury assessment. Oh, my word.
These are very valuable things.
Well, thanks to Eddie Rombo, our special guest tonight, who, by all accounts, has contributed as much tonight as he did for Leeds, according to the
He'll
legend.
be back next week as well.
He might be back next week. We
Oh,
might
me,
have others as well.
Rombo.
Possibly. Thanks to the legend. Thanks to Phil, as ever, our gracious host. Thanks for the cups as well and the t-shirts. Thanks to the RSW. We will be back next week. Download that podcast. Get us back to the top of the charts. We'll see you next Monday.